cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Counting you down to kickoff. This is College Football Saturday with Alex Kirry, Christian Esparza, and Alex Napoles on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome in. It's another edition of our College Football Saturday right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, and the Texas Tech Red Raiders hosting another game day in Lubbock, Texas against the BYU Cougars. Did I say that enough like the Ohio State? Are the Cougs going to start calling it the BYU? My goodness. The guest picker for today, by the way, is Patrick Mahomes as they're wearing. Is it? Can you guys help me understand? Is it the Patrick Mahomes branded jersey?
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Oh, really?
So they're not Adidas anymore? I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes is Adidas, but they got this. It is the Patrick Mahomes brand of jersey. They're wearing the full whites, which allows BYU to wear the full blues. The home blues for BYU plus the Sailor Coug hat.
Yeah.
Everything exciting.
Yeah.
You didn't think you'd get this excited at 8 a.m. I still am debating whether or not I'm excited at this hour of the morning to get into college football. Guys, we've been here before. A Texas Tech 10 a.m. kickoff against a local team here in Utah. We were outside Rice Eccles Stadium at this very moment.
That's
doing
right.
Last time we had some breakfast burritos.
we were handing out donuts and breakfast burritos, and we thought that the fans and Utah were going to be awake for that game, but it was not to be so on that day.
Well, the fans were awake. The team wasn't.
Yeah. Give credit to the people who walked by and came and took the
Tech
donuts.
had like 6 false start penalties.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah, oh, yeah. You know, it was – but it is still just so difficult to get used to a game that starts at 10 a.m. Still not sure if I like it or not. However –
I'll take it over 8:15.
Oh, an 8:15 p.m.
You know
kick.
what,
yeah,
man?
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to argue that, and I'm going to say I like the 8:15 kick better.
Just so you have your whole day.
Yeah, kind of.
Ahead of you.
Christian, you've been hanging out with Jake Scott too much. You're starting to turn into old guy,
Dude,
grumpy
I'm
guy.
sick of having a 1 a.m. post game.
Tell you what, I like to go to bed on time on a Saturday night. Don't
Dude,
you guys?
It hits 10:30 p.m. and I'm like,
Yes.
Well,
but you know what? It's better than waking up at 6 a.m.
okay, that makes sense.
it's true. You woke up at 6? What's your problem?
I did wake up at 6.
Gosh, you
I
and
don't
your,
know.
you and your show prep, get out of here.
Gotta get
Come on,
jacked
man.
for the show.
We got lots going on, of course, and this one kicks off as big as any game that the Big 12 as a conference has seen, maybe ever. Is that dramatic to say? I say this version of the Big 12. The new iteration of this, when they took away Oklahoma and Texas, the question mark was, and always has been, and has always been the charge for Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the conference, to try to make sure that this conference was carried through with some teams that could put them on the map nationally. These are the games that do that. These are the teams that I think people are leaning a lot on. You start talking about teams that have a lot of energy right now surrounding their programs, and if people who have literally bought in to the NIL side of things. BYU and Texas Tech carry that banner in the conference right now for teams who are trying to be big time in a world where everybody else is saying, no, these are the big time conferences. So for me, this is phenomenal. This is the type of game that we've been looking forward to, and I cannot believe in the history of BYU football that this is the first time in the history of its program that they have a top 10 matchup with another team, a 7 versus 8. Now, albeit this is one of those games that is going to be, well watched by everybody across the country. Your college football playoff dreams for either of these teams really rests a little bit on what this game is. For BYU, you've got one mulligan in terms of the loss department to be able to get to the Big 12 championship game. However, I would say that it might even be more razor thin of a margin that you have as a BYU team, because Texas Tech, they know, of course, they have to win this game to be able to control their own destiny the rest of the way. And there are going to be a lot of 2-loss teams in the conference this year, just like we saw last year. Getting to 1 loss is fine if you're BYU and maybe still being able to get there with your goals in front of you. But I will say, the amount of energy behind the national pundits who are saying, yeah, but a 2-loss BYU team, if they were to lose a second game, and that second game was in the Big 12 championship game even, if they were to have 2 losses against a single-digit Texas Tech team twice, they still would lose out to Notre Dame, according to most of the metrics that are on there. I say metrics. The metrics would say no way. But it's really just the national talking points and whether or not the playoff committee would allow a team to jump a Notre Dame type of a team with 2 losses, or a Texas or an Oklahoma. At least those teams would have had to have won a ton of really tough games in this stretch here.
Which they haven't.
Which they have not yet. And so the test is going to be there. But this type of a game, this is the one we look for all to. This is one that you dream of to be able to cover on a Saturday, because you want to be able to talk about the biggest matchups in the country. And even better, when we're able to do it a couple of times this year with a really, really good Texas Tech team and a Utah team and a BYU team. This is what we've asked for with these two teams in the conference together.
This is exactly what you want in a matchup that could potentially define how the Big 12 shape is going to race out, and of course, which Big 12 teams are going to make it into the college football playoff. This is a massive, massive game with massive implications on the line, and I think the pressure is a little bit more on Texas Tech today because they have the one conference loss. BYU, like you mentioned it, has the mulligan still, but Texas Tech sitting at 5-1. If they lose a second conference game, things get a little complicated for them.
And it gets interesting because, of course, after Utah winning a couple games, right, they look really, really good. It's like, okay, is there any scenario where Utah and BYU both make the college football playoff? And the fact of the matter is, it's a small chance, but there is a chance. And that likely involves BYU and Utah both winning out. And that's a scenario that we've talked about a lot. But ultimately, going back to, the national spotlight that both of these schools are getting, this is the fourth, national big game that we've had here in the state. We've had two big noon kickoffs, and now this is the second time that a local team has been on College game day. So that's huge. And ultimately, there are goals for the end of the season, and you want to reach the highest that you can. But to continue to get the national spotlight like this in the Big 12 conference, that's why these teams made the move. That's what's paying off. And you talked about, Kirry, the Big 12 wants brands that can reach across nationally, programs that they can advertise and say, hey, look at us. We've got real high-quality football teams. And I think so far, at least, BYU and Utah have proved to be that, especially with Utah winning their game day game last week and getting that monkey off their back. So, they won't be scared to put Utah on there anymore. But, BYU's got to take care of business today and do their part as well. Yeah,
the question is, can they? And how do they do it? This is a team this Texas Tech team, I think we all, the weekend of the BYU-Utah rivalry game is when Texas Tech took its only loss of the season so far, which was at Arizona State. And I'm not sure what went into that loss, except for that you had an exceptional NFL-bound wide receiver at Arizona State in Jordan Tyson. And then a healthy Sam Levitt obviously is massive for that team. They're also on the road. And we've seen how playing in Tempe, that's a difficult place to play. It's become a difficult place to play with Kenny Dillingham, igniting the valley, so to speak, as they've said so much. I don't know what to expect with this Texas Tech team yet, because when you look at how well they've done against some of these teams, last week I watched that whole Kansas State game. It was not a great first half by them. But the second half, they did exactly what has gotten them to the point that they're at right now, which is an insane amount of takeaways. Mistake-prone Kansas State, as they've been this year, that was a sloppy second half by them. But there were moments and flashes during that game where I think that Texas Tech is being looked at and you go, you know what? They have some vulnerabilities. they haven't shown them a ton this year. And even in a blowout win over Kansas State at Kansas State, there were some moments where you go, okay, who's going to be the person to take over? Baron Morton has been a pretty decent quarterback this year. He's not been the guy that people thought that was going to be, top of the tables in terms of the passing yards, things like that. He's been a little bit banged up this year. Will Hammond has been asked to do more this season than I think we thought, obviously, against Utah. Now he's out for the rest of the year with an ACL. So there's a lot on the line, not just for Texas Tech has way more to lose in this game if they lose. And that's scary if you're BYU because you're going to get and Texas Tech is being talked about this week. I grew up in that state. Texas Tech was a program that was looked at as third tier, right? They
always have been.
Right, and you have S tier, which is Texas, and they're the only ones there. And then it was always Texas A&M trying to be like, what about us? That's what you get. And then teams like Texas Tech and Houston and TCU and Baylor. SMU was a joke growing up because they were still doing the death penalty stuff, years later. And so they were looked at as a little bit of a joke because it was like, yeah, that's nice. You can score a lot of points. That's nice. Speaking of quarterback U and a history, Texas Tech can argue that they have way more of a quarterback U history than BYU does, especially in recent years. But this is a program that has turned a corner when they were asked to and to play big boy football, and you're seeing it now. But they have everything still in front of them, and I think there's part of me that wants to see a really, really close game, and I just don't know if we're going to necessarily get it. BYU's a 10.5-point dog in this game, and I wonder if that is going to be similar to the 10.5-point favorite that Utah got last week, which we saw what they did to a Cincinnati team who was also last week undefeated. So there's so many different storylines in here, but Texas Tech cannot afford to lose this game because if they do, they're going to have to rely on some of this tiebreakery, I hope this team loses over here type of stuff, which you don't want to do in this conference because, week to week, teams upset other teams. We saw it last week. Houston is not they ran out of time. They ran out of juice. And so I'm excited about this one. And so to see it up on the TV with the Sailor Coug helmet against that white helmet of Texas Tech, this is going to be a nice game today.
Well, I do think that, obviously, when Tech came here and played Utah, it was at Rice-Eccles. So that gives the Utes a bit of an advantage. You got to remember, for as bad as Utah played during that game, it was close right up until
about 10
midway
minutes
through the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Where Utah ran out of steam, and then Tech kind of blew the doors open. But that game was a one-score game for almost 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
And, with a healthy Devin Dampier, Utah probably could have hung with them. Who knows, whatever. I am confident that BYU can hang with these guys, but they've got to do it from the very start. We've seen games from BYU, including the win over Iowa State, the Arizona game, the Colorado game, where sometimes they'll dig a hole early, and you can't do that against Tech. If you go down 2 scores against these guys, you're not going to come back, especially on the road in Lubbock. So if BYU wants any chance at winning this one, they need to stay close and keep it competitive from the jump. And I think that's the biggest thing. But if they're able to do that, I really am very confident in their ability to hang with these guys and then maybe pull magic out of a hat at the end, because that is something that we've seen them do time and time again. And that's what happens when you have not only a good defense, but a good enough offense and a phenomenal special teams. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference today is BYU's special teams has been so good at creating a big play when they need it. And, people kind of sleep on that advantage.
I think one of the biggest things for me that I'm looking at, right, is coming into this season and kind of as the season has played out, one of the big storylines and one of the biggest things we've heard about Texas Tech is how much money they've spent on rebuilding that defense. They get a new defensive coordinator this offseason after a very poor showing on defense last season, right? New coordinator comes in. They put in a bunch of resources in the transfer portal to rebuild that defense, and it is now one of the best defenses in the entire country. When it comes to points against per game, they're number 5 in the country. They only allow 13.2 points per game. That defense is really, really good. So exactly what Christian said, I don't know if this is a game where BYU can afford to find themselves in a 14-0 hole like we saw against Colorado, like we saw against Iowa State.
Yeah.
They were down against Arizona. They came back in that one too, right? This isn't a game where I think BYU can really afford to be down early the way we saw them go down in those games. They have to come out swinging, and they got to come out swinging quick because that defense is no joke. They've put in a lot of resources, a lot of money, and the statistics shows they're the 5th best defense in the entire country.
Well, and I do think that the defense is their specialty this year, which is funny because I joked about it before the Utah game. I was like, yeah, they've never been known for their defense, and I wasn't taking it seriously back then because we didn't know. But now we know. And the fact is Baron Morton is coming into this game banged up, and he had to miss games. And that is their weak point offensively right now. And he's still a good enough quarterback to get the job done, and I don't want to dismiss that at all. But for a juggernaut team that Texas Tech is, they've got to be weak somewhere, and right now that's the quarterback position. But, man, this defense is phenomenal. Their defensive line is great. They've got one of the best linebackers in the entire country, if not the best, in Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah.
David Bailey is the country's sack leader. I heard reports that he's the highest paid player in college football. Cody Campbell, the mega booster, was on DJ and PK the other day, and I guess after last season, somebody tweeted at him and was like, hey, we need some dogs in the trenches. And he said, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And he went out and completely overhauled that offensive and defensive line. So that's where they won the game against Utah. That's where they've been winning the games all season long.
Think about how crazy that. Look, we cover a lot of weird stuff that just wouldn't have gone years ago.
Yeah. Texas
But imagine
Tech.
a booster coming on to one of our shows here locally and going, I got a text during the offseason that said, hey, man, open the bag. We need to start paying players to get here. Hey, I got you.
Right.
Don't you dare worry.
Say
We're gonna
less.
bring the best that money can buy here into West
And
Texas.
it is working, and it is
Yes.
crazy. And it just shows when you put resources into the trenches, it's easier to fill out the rest of your team, and that's exactly what Tech has proven this year.
When I think of Texas Tech, I've always thought of offense. I've always thought of high-scoring offense,
Yeah.
high-scoring games because their defense, it was typically a shootout because usually their defense couldn't stop them, but now they finally have that defense to go along with it, and you see it because for the first time ever, Texas Tech is in the college football playoff rankings.
Mm-hmm. It's one of these moments where your program. Here's the problem: is doing this. We saw what the hype did when game day or when Big Noon Kickoff was up at it was here in Salt Lake, and we saw how just like the absolute energy that surrounds all of that. And if you come out and you fall flat in a game like this, then the question is how do you respond? We talked about this a lot this week. BYU last year, of course, the 2 losses at the time of the calendar when they had those 2 losses was devastating, right? Yeah. Which is weird because you penalize a team who goes 2.5 months and hasn't lost a game, and they lose a game, and you go, well, that was nice knowing you because it's November and we're just done with you. Now, Notre Dame is in the second year of them losing an early game, and in their case this year 2 early games, and then people going, going, oh man, you guys look so good, man. You guys are so cute. You're like, you guys have really grown up. Like, and everybody's just anticipating a 10-game win streak from the Irish, and they'll probably get it. And that's so hard to watch that back and forth and to say, oh no, this team is no good. Why? Well, because their loss came in November. Okay, so that was the difference. Yeah, because you lost in November, man, against, by the way, a single-digit college football playoff ranked team. The college football playoff rankings coming out this week, I thought were so favorable for the Big 12, not just compared to the ACC, but I think just overall, it's a great sign that from a national perspective, this conference is getting the respect right now, at least according to the voters. I still think that there are people who can't wait to put BYU out of the top 10 rankings. They can't wait to put Texas Tech out of the top 10 rankings. They can't wait for people to fall off so that they can say, "Hey, make room for this for the big conferences over here." But this is what you want. You want a matchup like this. And I think that one of the biggest issues today for BYU is how healthy is LJ Martin. I mean, Riley Nelson came on our show on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Christian, I don't know if you heard this, but he was like, I'm probably giving away a little bit too much.
Did hear this.
And we were like, As soon as somebody says that, I perk up. I don't go, well, hold on a minute. I go, oh, wait, what?
Do
Oh,
tell
shoot,
more.
what's going on? My ears are like, oh. So he goes, yeah, I might get in trouble for this, but it's an AC joint. It's an AC joint strain. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, what did Harvey Longy and Sly say? Yeah, man. Yeah, you can absolutely play with that. It's so freaking painful. Like you're like, okay, which one is it? Yeah, you can play through that. You want to die on the field. And Riley just goes as far as saying, yeah, you can play straight up. You just can't fall on it. I was like, oh, for a guy who carries the ball.
Running back, yeah.
And he goes, no, yeah, but you can stunt man your way to falling in the right way. And I thought, man.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah, and if your game is based off of, and if your success is based off of LJ Martin's shoulder staying together for the game.
Yeah.
That's these are the games you have to have your biggest dogs for, and LJ Martin's one of them. I'm interested to see what version of LJ we're going to see today down in Lubbock.
I think going back to 2 weeks ago now against Iowa State, right? After LJ went down, I still think BYU did a good job of running and passing and moving the ball. However, going back to even that Utah game where we saw that Texas Tech defense up close, they did a phenomenal job of stopping the run game. If LJ Martin, obviously we hope that he's able to go the whole game and he's able to go and he's perfect, he's fine, he's 100%, he's ready to roll. But if LJ Martin gets banged up, he has to sit out for a little bit and those backups come in. I'm a little concerned that BYU isn't going to be able to run the ball against that defensive line.
That may be true. And it sucks that may be true. That may just be something you have to eat. But you know what? Looking at Texas Tech's only loss of the season against Arizona State, the Sun Devils had 36 carries for only 75 yards. That's 2.1 yards per carry. So they could not run against Tech. Where they won this game, Sam Leavitt had 47 passing attempts, 28 completions for 319 yards. A lot of not like super short passes, but a lot of kind of quick pop passes over the middle. And I think that's something that we haven't seen a ton of from BYU and Aaron Roderick this year. But I'm confident they can do it with guys like Chase Roberts and Carson Ryan especially. I think that fits their skill sets really well. We've seen a lot of kind of 15-yard intermediate crossing routes from those guys. But I'm curious to see how Aaron Roderick kind of adjusts his play calling and his kind of passing style there. Because if the run game's not working, which with a banged up running back and a banged up room behind him, you don't really have anything else besides LJ
Right.
Martin. You're gonna have to come up with something else because odds are, with the defensive line that Tech has, they're probably not going to be able to run the ball today, and you just have to accept that. And I don't want to see Bear running it 25 times. I don't think that's going to win you this game. You're going to have to go to guys like Carson Ryan.
I wonder too. And obviously the return of JoJo Phillips is a big deal this week. But what do you, out of a guy who hasn't played in the last 7 weeks? What do you expect out of a guy? Do they hang too much on JoJo Phillips' back? And you know what that means. Obviously, their passing game is going to open up a ton. Bears gotten better at throwing the football, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they sort of caught Iowa State out of their shoes a little bit because they weren't expecting for him to throw for 300-plus yards. But that's what they asked him to do because LJ was out. And that's what they're asking him to do. If this thing, you talk about the best defense that they faced all year, I still think Utah is obviously one. Do you think they were going to? I don't think BYU is going to be nervous about facing a good defense, is what I'm saying. They've faced a really, really good defense. And I would say that Utah is as physical as Texas Tech is. And guess what they have? They have their own Lander Barton, right? Jacob Rodriguez is a legit talent. He is a one-man wrecking ball, but they've played teams like this before. And you do have to you have to look at this team and you have to wonder, okay, what are the strengths of this BYU team? I think part of the strength is that their play calling from Aaron Roderick gives them enough of a different look down to down that make teams have to really guess on what they're going to see with this guy. Is it going to see, or are we going to see a Bear Bachmeier who is on this big stage? No stage has been too big for this kid so far this year. And I wonder if he just kind of builds off of that same type of vibe where he goes, hey, I've been in big games already. I've played against big opponents. I play in loud stadiums. I play in stadiums where we're down. I've played against teams that we've been down double digits to and on the road. And I think that all those things have been important for him to be able to learn some of these, football life lessons, so to speak, leading a team. So JoJo Phillips coming back is a big deal. LJ Martin being at least semi-healthy and making a go is going to be massive for this team. But everything runs through Bear, and everything runs through whether or not A-Rod can out-duel with 10 days of prep the defensive coordinator from Texas Tech. Now, on the flip side, I love Jay Hill having 10 days to prepare for any team.
True.
Right? We saw it last year in the Colorado game. Everybody was like, people have no idea what it's like to give Jay Hill 10 days on a team. And whether or not this defense shows up and makes sure that they are not going to give up the big play, or when they do, they're able to rebound on this thing, it's going to be huge. So the chess match is going to start up. I really just hope we see I want a close game. I want this thing going down to the wire. And if it's anything like these other BYU games that we've seen this year, that could be the case. That will absolutely be a possibility because BYU likes to keep it close. It's almost like that's their superpower. We're going to keep this thing close, and then down the stretch, we'll kind of put the screws to you.
We're going to find a way to win in these close games, and I think that's ultimately what it's going to come down to. Is both defenses this season have been incredible. It'll be a defensive chess match, I think, and whichever team is able to kind of crack the other team's defense a little bit, I think that's ultimately what you're going to see be the difference in this one too, along with the special teams like you mentioned, Christian.
It's going to be real interesting, man, because the JoJo Phillips thing, one of our first shows we were talking about like surprise players from BYU, and I said JoJo Phillips, and then he got hurt the first game, and I was like, oh. But since then, Parker Kingston and Chase Roberts have been phenomenal. Especially Kingston. He's had several 100-yard games this season. There have been a couple games where both of those guys topped 100.
When he got healthy,
right,
he became a different guy.
He
100%.
has been, a hidden gem. And so it's not like you're looking and saying, oh, we've got JoJo Phillips back. Now our offense can be really good. Their passing attack has been great.
Yeah.
With JoJo Phillips, it almost adds another dimension where how many games this season have we seen BYU take a shot down the field on the first play of the game? Seems like almost every game, right?
Yeah, A-Rod loves it. He loves to start out big like that. Yeah.
I would not be shocked if they do the same thing today with JoJo Phillips, not because, they need a big play, but that's kind of where he excels. If you look at his kind of career receptions, he averages like 20 yards a catch. He is a deep threat guy. So even if, you don't connect, you got to kind of let Tech know, hey, this is a threat.
Yeah.
And then maybe they go to sleep a little bit. Maybe you do start the ground game, or you do start with the little quick pop passes. You kind of lullaby Texas Tech, get them to play up in the box a little bit, and then hit JoJo Phillips down the field later in the game and kind of open things up that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe 3/4 of this game is really close, and then we get a really fun, exciting fourth quarter with both teams putting up a lot of points.
Let's take our first break of the day here on College Football Saturday. We're getting you ready for a big one, of course, not just down in Lubbock, but the rest of the country. Big games across the board. Now with these new rankings attached to, and these little numbers attached to these teams across the SEC, across the Big Ten, every team now starts to feel that little bit more pressure to go, there's no room for error here. You cannot start to lose. Texas A&M, we're looking at their matchup with Missouri today. That's a decent Missouri team. Texas A&M is undefeated, and that's a weird spot for them. Like they are not usually in this type of a spot. So how can they handle it? How can they figure out a way to make sure that they still are one of those dogs at the front of the SEC race? We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back. We've got more to break down. We've got more to talk about with not just this BYU versus Texas Tech game, but across the entire country here. You're going to get a massive score update from Christian Esparza on the way back here. I'm just kidding. There's no game.
Yeah, you shocked me. I was like,
It's too early.
news to me.
Is somebody playing in London this morning? Like, is there some way we could get some games
go over
going?
to Houston, UCF.
We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. More to go. College Football Saturday on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Here we go again.
Shahan Jayaraja, CBS Sports National College Football writer. Are you ready for BYU and Texas Tech?
Well, I had this one circled for about 4 months now, so I'm glad that this one's finally coming to fruition. It's obviously a huge game for both these programs, a prove-it spot, by far the biggest game of the week, a top 10 matchup, and obviously BYU's in good shape, I think, regardless, but you start talking about the idea of tiebreakers, and I think that if you have one over Texas Tech, you've almost locked yourself yourself in with a win this week.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at UtahJazz.com.
From the first twinkle on Temple Square to the last toast of the night, make your holidays shine 10 floors up at the roof. Perched high above the city in the historic Joseph Smith Memorial Building, every table feels like a front row seat to the season. The anticipation is over. We're reopening November 14th just in time for your merriest gatherings and special occasions. Now with an all-new design and an a la carte menu that wraps Utah favorites in a festive bow. Share a plate of our house-made Utah scone, pass the reimagined funeral potato bites, slice into your perfectly cooked steak, then stop and linger over local honey-drizzled desserts, berry cobbler, and chocolate pudding that tastes like holiday magic. The delicious menu doesn't stop there. Why not try our burrito short rib, pork ossobuco, maple glazed salmon, shrimp scampi, and our fried chicken mac and cheese. All dishes made to celebrate togetherness. Elevate your traditions literally. Preview the new menu and reserve your holiday table at theroofslc.com. This is The Roof, where the holidays taste like home.
It's that time again. The Reams Boots and Jeans semi-annual work boot and outdoor clothing sale. Right now is the perfect time to save money and get the boots and clothing you need for cooler weather ahead. With the change of seasons, it's time to gear up. And Reams has the absolute best prices on the brands you know and trust. Save big on Ariat, Justin, Tony Lama, Georgia, and Timberland Pro Boots. Built tough for the work you do every day. And that's not all. Stock up and save on Carhartt brand jackets, hoodies, bibs, pants, and vests. Whether you're working hard or heading outdoors, Reams has you covered from head to toe. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah's largest boot dealer. Come in today for the best selection and the best prices on the boots and clothing you need. Look great, feel great, and save money. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah family owned and operated for over 80 years. Reams Boots and Jeans.
Helping your money do more means making sure you get the most out of every dollar. That's why, for a limited time, when you open a new America First Visa credit card and spend $3,000 within 90 days, we'll give you $300. That's like getting a 10% discount on everything you pay for with your card. Before you spend another cent, head to AmericaFirst.com and apply for your low-rate Visa credit card today. Membership eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions apply. Subject to additional criteria. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's. Drop in for one of our delicious gourmet burgers made with 100% choice Grand Chuck. We're in Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
This is College Football Saturday on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Christian Esparza. Joining me, Alex Kirry and Alex Napoles, walking you up to kickoff. BYU down in Lubbock for a top 10 matchup against Texas Tech. Real quick, want to remind you about University of Utah Health. At U of U Health, hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life.
Let me ask you guys about. I do want to ask about the Utah game last week against Cincinnati. I think it's like Utah's not just on a bye this week; they're on a different level than everybody else they've been playing against. And that game against Cincinnati was no exception. Cincinnati came in and just did not know what hit them. They made them make mistakes that they hadn't made all season long at the rate that they hadn't made all season long. I think all of us who know what Utah does, it's not a surprise what they did at night against a team who had to come into Resurgence Stadium on a dark mode game. But what has been the key to Utah turning around? I say turning around. It's not like their season was ever in some weird dire place, but you lose to Texas Tech, you lose to BYU. Those are the two big teams on your schedule that people look at and go, yeah, but what did you do against those guys? But it's been a different level of beating up teams on both sides of the football, on special teams. What's been the biggest key to the turnaround for Utah in the last month and a half? Or month since BYU.
I will say it was a surprise because Utah has not been able to do that since they moved to the Big 12. And I mean beat, a good team at home. And they had previously, beat Arizona State at Rice-Eccles Stadium. But, of course, Arizona State was playing without Sam Leavitt. So we still didn't know what exactly to expect. And not only did Utah beat Cincinnati, they beat the crap out of them. Brendan Sorsby is a very good quarterback, and he had probably his worst game as a starting quarterback against Utah.
You know what? You said that in the post game, and you were like, I don't know, I don't watch Brendan Sorsby, and so I actually went back afterwards and looked at the numbers and looked at everything, and it was his worst collegiate performance.
33% completion percentage, 2 interceptions, and a lost fumble.
He had only given up 1 turnover all season long.
He had 1 interception the entire year, and he threw 2 against Utah and put the ball on the ground. So I think, you could look at that as where it started, right? The defense forcing takeaways. And we haven't seen Utah do that a ton this year. They started off, of course, Jackson Benny had, 3 games with an interception. And then after that, they kind of stopped taking the ball away. But last week against Cincinnati, forcing takeaways like that, getting the ball, putting the ball in your offense's hands, still seeing some mistakes from Devin Dampier. That interception that he threw was one of the ugliest interceptions I've seen.
Was it one of those moments too where you're watching it? This is what happened to me when I'm watching it at home. Is I'm watching, I go, look at all the time he has. When he lets this ball fly, there's going to be somebody who's just so wide open, and it was the defender.
It was the defender.
He would just throw it straight to him, and you're like, hold on, that's what you did with nobody being able to get to the quarterback. He's just hanging out back there, hanging out. And I go, I'm
sitting there come on, run it. You are you're on the very edge of field goal range. If Devin Dampier, if he would have ran that and picked up 10, 15 yards, that's a chip shot. But, floating it up into double coverage, regardless, when you get those extra opportunities from the takeaways, that's going to allow your team to put up points. And when we see Utah's offense be efficient, like we know they can be, like they were last week, you take away that interception, and they played a really clean game.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, too, the thing that stands out to me is when Utah's running the ball, the way that they run the ball, they're very hard to stop. You look at that Texas Tech game, they only had 100 yards in that game rushing. They struggled to run the ball against BYU. You take away Daniel Bray 100 yards, and I think the next highest rusher was Wayshawn Parker at about 30. So when they're struggling to run the ball, that's when Utah's offense struggles. Yeah. And when they're running it efficiently, when they're running it well, that's when Utah's offense can put up those 40-point games that we've seen the last couple of weeks.
So what has Wayshawn Parker figured out? One thing that we've talked about was, I think it was Sly was telling us yesterday, they go, he for some reason doesn't show these flashes in practice that you would think. Mm-hmm. Some guys are practice all-stars.
Yeah.
They're not Wayshawn. He gets in the games and he turns it on.
He's a gamer.
And so there's been a lot of times where they're like, yeah, we've liked what he's seen, but they're like, if he could turn it on, but obviously they're going to give you opportunities based on really how you practice, especially Witt, right? He goes, man, if you don't practice hard, we don't put you in the game. You know what I mean? And so he's figured something out as well. He's flipped the switch, and that's going to be massive going forward too. They're not just running all over teams; they're absolutely embarrassing them on the ground, and that's what's I wouldn't say a shock because we know how good this offensive line is, but they're putting up 300 yards of rushing every week now. It seems like, and it looks easy to them too.
One of the things that I think I really liked that Sly pointed out yesterday on Football Friday with you guys was Daniel Bray has come in and he's been electric.
Yep.
He's a true freshman, right? And when this young running back comes in and is putting up these big runs and is putting up these big yards, iron sharpens iron, right? Wayshawn Parker kind of turns it on a little bit and says, I need to maybe step it up a little bit. And since we've seen the emergence of Daniel Bray, we've also seen Wayshawn Parker have 100-yard rushing games.
Well, one thing that I would point to is it all goes back to Dampier and his health. The way this offense is ran with the option game and things like that. If you're only looking at, Wayshawn Parker in the backfield and then you see Devin Dampier and it's like, oh, he's banged up. He's not a running threat. He was hurt against Texas Tech. He was hurt against BYU. And that severely limits what they can do on the ground, right? So when he is presumably healthy, or when you have Bird Ficklin in there who was healthy when he was able to play, and now you really have to worry about both of those players, and then you've got Daniel Bray coming in a jet sweep motion, then it's like, yeah, that really does kind of confuse the defense. It's like they cannot prepare for both or all three of those guys. And you know what? This offensive line, we know how good they are. This is a new scheme for them. We knew it was going to be a little bumpy for them learning a different blocking scheme early on. And now midway through the season, it seems like they've really picked it up and really figured out the intricacies of this new offense. And I think that has helped as well.
We saw the college football playoff rankings come out this week. We saw what a bracket could look like. And it's got right now 2 Big 12 teams, not just in the college football playoff, in number 7 BYU and number 8 Texas Tech. That would put them both on the seed line to host a game in the college football playoff in the very. So they've got 7th seeded BYU hosting the 10th seeded Notre Dame. That's the only way that I think BYU fans would be excited about Notre Dame making the college football playoff is if BYU does. And especially if they had to, you know what, I love the football universe. And I know it would be a lot. I know you're asking a lot. But after Notre Dame has big-timed BYU a couple of times in its history, right? I had to go back to South Bend twice. In 2012 and 2013, they had back-to-back home games against Notre Dame, both of which they lost. And then the return trip that was promised to them was, hey, we're not actually going to do that. We're going to play it in Las Vegas, but it's going to be a home game for you guys. And then they made it part of their Shamrock Series. I don't know if they ended up having to pay money out to BYU. I certainly hope that they did because there was supposed to be a home trip back to Provo that Notre Dame was not interested in taking. And now, if you get forced to do it, first of all, a college football playoff game in the state of Utah on December 19th, December 20th would be stupid cold. Like it would be hard to imagine a game. I mean, we see these. We cover a lot of these games, and when you see an empty stadium on December 10th, and you go, "All right, see you next fall," and it's sitting around for 9 months, that stadium. It'd be nice to be able to fire all that stuff up and get it going, but the possibilities of hosting a playoff game here in the state of Utah, having Utah at 13 was such a huge spot to open up for the Utes. I think it's a massive bit of respect that Utah gets. And that if it were Texas Tech and BYU in the same situation, correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. If they're a 2-loss Utah or if they're a 2-loss BYU team or a 2-loss Texas Tech team, they don't get that level of respect, I don't think, to be at number 13 in the college football playoff ranking off the bat. It helps that Utah has the background that it does and the brand that it's built when it was in the Pac-12. I think that's huge. And I think that number 13 number is not insignificant. It's important for Utah to be at that spot because if they win out, they're just going to keep eking their way up that college football playoff ranking.
I think ultimately, too, it's big for the Big 12. The fact that your lowest team was ranked 13 and your highest ACC team was ranked 14th, right? Utah and Virginia right there at 13 and 14. Because that opens up the possibility, a real possibility of the Big 12 potentially getting 2 teams into the college football playoff. And it's been a big talking point. I feel like this season is the Big 12 a 2-bid league. Can they get 2 teams into the college football playoff? And I think right now, because of the way BYU is landed up at 7, because of Texas Tech being at 8, because of the respect Utah got getting 13, it is a very big possibility right now. Plus, obviously, the ACC kind of faltering out and not really having their big brands show up and play. Miami just lost to SMU, right? That hurts the ACC a lot. It helps the Big 12 potentially get 2 teams into the college football playoff.
Yeah, and when the initial rankings come out and you have 3 teams inside the top 15, and you know that third team is really just barely outside the top 12, right? That does look good. And you hope that they're not setting up Utah or somebody to be the sacrificial lamb. I've seen that theory kind of floating around, is that they want somebody to kind of put up and see, we ranked you so high and you didn't, do your part at the end of the year. So that's why, say Vanderbilt picks up a couple wins and they're going to need to rise, somebody's going to need to fall. You just hope that Utah can keep rolling and dominating these games, because they won't have a reason to drop Utah if they keep winning by 30 points, right? But, if they start having some close wins, they are the team that's going to get circled and say, okay, we've got these SEC teams that need to rise. You've got to drop. Yeah. And that's unfortunately how it is, because you have the 2 losses. But of course, if you end up making the Big 12 championship or something crazy happens, you never know. But I think right now, all Utah can focus on is continuing to dominate the way, not just winning. You've got to dominate these games.
Right. From the Utah perspective, one, I think it hurts them to have a bye week right now as far as the rankings go, because I do think that they'll fall a little bit.
Well, momentum-wise, too.
Yeah. And momentum-wise, too, yeah, absolutely. But I think next Tuesday, right, when the rankings come out, I think they'll fall a little bit because they had a bad bye, right, Alex?
that was the term I used. Like, the committee will go, yeah, they looked awful this week. They look terrible. We got to put them down to 15 because look, this committee will find weird excuses.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. They've got to,
They love being able to put it on paper too. Like, well, that's a great, well, the reason we did that was because we felt, and then you just do this whole subjective crap that's just hard to watch humans mess up, this type of thing, and have just this bad logic across. They apply it to one conference and to one school. They don't apply it to another.
That's what does scare me, seeing Utah at 13 initially, is so you almost worry that they're going to say, see, we put 3 teams in the ranking. We had Utah in there.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at us.
Y'all could have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to watch. And right now, like, Game Day's got it up right now. The whole bracket is up. Texas Tech would be hosting Oregon. If it were set up like this, and this is how they're going to do it with the college football playoff, however the rankings are, those 1, 2, 3, 4s are going to be the legit 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not going to be a conference championship. It's not going to be number 10 in the ranking, but they were conference champion, put them in the bye. Yeah. You're not going to see that Boise State stuff. So they fixed the seeding side of it. However the rankings are ranked is how they're going to seed the whole thing, which makes a lot more sense. However, that would have BYU, if they were to win that opening game, they would have to play Indiana in the quarterfinals, and I think the quarterfinals, I don't know the exact spot that theirs are going to be. I think that, but they're going to be the big bowl games,
They would
right?
be the bowl game, yeah.
It'd be massive bowl games, and it'd be like a Sugar Bowl or a Rose Bowl, and then they'd have to do the same thing in the semifinals, play in another one of those, whatever. I can't remember which ones are assigned to which place this year because they kind of rotate them all through. But either way, it's the biggest that college football has been in its history right now. And they're going to add more teams to the college football playoff. And so we're going to have at least more opportunities to be able to talk about local teams and their abilities to get in if they're winning, and that's the key. You have to be winning. You have to keep winning. And in the case of a conference like the Big 12, unfortunately you have to beat a lot more teams on your way to success if you're not in the SEC and if you're not in the Big Ten.
I think the awesome thing right now, though, is just with these initial rankings, I think there is a realistic path to get both local teams into the college football playoff this season. So I think I'm just excited to see how everything plays out, right? Oklahoma has to lose a couple of games. Texas has to lose a couple of games. Potentially, possibly, we'll see if Notre Dame loses any games, but they also have to probably lose a game in order for both teams to get in. But there is a path there for both local teams to get in, and I think that would be amazing for the state of Utah. Just because, one, we've already had the big shows come in to highlight both teams already, 4 times this season, and to have both of them in, I think would be absolutely phenomenal.
They've had a ton of exposure. They really have, and it seems like, outside of that Texas Tech game, they've done really good things with it.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if BYU can continue that today, but it's going to be a crazy final month of college football setting this thing up, especially, for the local teams and in the Big 12.
There's only a month left, but there's still so much.
There's so
left
many
to
possibilities.
Go. Oh, my goodness. I love it. This is the best time of the year, man.
We will see what ends up happening. We got to take another break. Coming up at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, Patrick Kinahan is going to join us to help break down this BYU Texas Tech game. We will get more into that next, talk more about JoJo Phillips returning to the lineup and some of the other injury news that we have for the Cougs. So stick with us. College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Don't touch that button.
Check this out. Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, to be able to sign somebody that wants to be in Utah, that's a budding superstar in this league and is committed long-term to the franchise. I can't tell you how fired up it makes this fan base here in Salt Lake.
I can't tell you the number of people went by me in the last week just so enthused about the fact that we were able to get him signed and he committed to Utah. It's a big thing for the franchise, and I think Dylan Gunther, you got to give him a lot of credit. He was the first one to kind of commit and make that long-term commitment to our club, and he's a heck of a player too. And JJ Paterk also has a long-term deal with us too, so we've got a lot of the talent locked in for a while, and that's exciting for this organization because now we have a chance to get into some windows here to push to be a championship organization.
It's Hans and Scotty, weekdays from noon to 3, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard. Hans, you feel it outside. It's football weather, but that also means it's colder outside, and that means your furnace, if you haven't fired it up already, you will be soon. So you want to keep that warm air in your house? Well, it's all about having the right windows, and Advanced Windows can make sure you have the best windows in the state of Utah.
Remember, they've got the lifetime warranty. It's transferable to the next owner. It covers all labor, glass, and parts. And these are original windows built right here in the state of Utah. They eliminate the middleman, so they make it more affordable for you. And they've got great financing plans, including 60 months, no interest, no payment, or no interest for 24 months. They'll set it up so it's affordable for you.
Go to advancedwindows.com. That's advancedwindows.com and find out how they can save you money. In fact, $2,500 off when you swap out 10 windows or more. That's Advanced Windows. Call them now, 801-850-9100.
It's Advanced Windows at advancedwindows.com, 801-850-9100.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Get your Thanksgiving fix at Kenny J's Barbecue. This year, skip the stress and bring home slow-cooked perfection. Pitmaster-style turkey and tender brisket. Ready for your holiday table. Kenny J's is serving up bold, smoky flavor with all the home-style sides your family loves. You bring the guests, we'll provide the feast. Pre-order your Thanksgiving meal today. Text 801-230-5396 or stop by the district in South Jordan. Make this Thanksgiving unforgettable with Kenny J's Barbecue.
Hey, Utah County golfers, the Back 9 Indoor Golf Lounge in Orem is now open right across from Costco. Mark your calendars. The Zone will be broadcasting live from the Orem Back 9 on Wednesday, November 12th from noon till 3 for the BYU preview show. Become a founding member today for just $25 down and lock in the biggest discounts for life. And Back 9 will donate $50 to a high school golf team of your choice. Experience 4 full swing simulator bays with comfy seating, 75-inch TVs, and 4D massage chairs. Perfect for date nights, parties, and corporate events. Plus 2 putting greens, an Xbox gaming lounge, free drinks, and Wi-Fi. Train like the pros with secure 24/7 access so you can play in leagues and tournaments on your schedule. With locations in Pleasant View, Murray, Lehigh, American Fork, Spanish Fork, Cedar City, and St. George. There's a Back 9 near you. A Back 9 membership makes the perfect gift for the golfer in your life.
Stay up to date with everything Utah Jazz related with the new Jazz Notes newsletter. Get draft updates, analysis, and be the first to know about every off-season move. Visit KSLSports.com to sign up for the Jazz Notes newsletter.
The KSL Sports Zone and Hercules Credit Union are highlighting people that impact youth sports. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com.
You're locked on to College Football Saturday on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back into College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Alex Napoles. That's Alex Kirry. That's Christian Esparza. And guys, we're getting ready to watch BYU take on Texas Tech in the Big 12's first top 10 matchup since 2021. BYU's first ever top 10 showdown in program history. The final availability report just dropped. Same usual suspects for BYU. Tommy Prasis out, Sione Moe out, Marcus McKenzie out, and Purcell out for BYU. For Texas Tech, Gil Howard, TJ West, Leighton Stone, Roy Alexander, and Hunter Zambrano. What I take away from this is that both teams have just about every key player, every crucial player healthy and ready to go for this big matchup.
I think that's all important. But can the kid make a $500,000 kick this week on College Football Game Day? I mean, it's actually become kind of fascinating, right? Like all these back and forths. We're watching the game day guys, the game day crew talking to this kid who I think probably has got some liquid courage going on early because I've never seen a guy so confident. I can't hear a word he's saying.
He's cross-eyed.
There's no way he's making this kick.
I don't need to hear. I know he's talking with a southern drawl.
Well, it's the hat that he's wearing is like a cattle company hat, and he's like, look at him staring the crowd down, and like he's done this a bunch of times before. I feel like they game these things up, and I don't know. It seems like everybody's making these kicks every week. Didn't the Utah guy make it last week?
Well, they iced him. So he missed the first attempt, but then they let him do another one.
Oh, okay.
And he made it on the second attempt.
He missed the $1 million one.
Yeah, so they gave him like $750 and they split it or something.
Oh, that's cool. Cool, $500,000. Yeah, well, we'll see. To your point, though, Annapolis, I just this game has become it's become bigger over the week as it's gotten going here, and I think that the College Football Playoff Committee putting BYU and Utah at 7 and 8, like that is it helps for this weekend, right? Oh, the tortillas, by the way, they can't throw them at the game, so they're throwing them at college game day. The tortillas have been flying all dang morning.
They've been everywhere.
Look, I'm all for it. As long as they don't do it during the game, I mean, that's the kind of classlessness that you'd expect out of the people at Texas Tech throwing tortillas during the football game.
Better than a lighter.
No, it was a pocket knife.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It was a pocket knife. And by the way, evidence showed it actually didn't happen. Oh, so you have all that. All right, so as we get going with this, though, as we start watching how this thing goes, the injury report came out, and the usual suspects missing for BYU, usual suspects missing for Texas Tech. Not a lot of surprises on it, but because we are, inside that 90-minute, the official report comes out. Good to see. People are wondering about with Moa being out as long as he has been, and with LJ Martin coming back, like the amount of fall off after LJ Martin at the talent level at the running back spot is concerning for BYU. I guess the question is, how do you keep LJ Martin upright and the shoulder intact as he goes through a game like this? A team who's sniffing out, like they smell blood, you know what I mean? Like you talk about people who don't want to fall on their shoulder. They're talking about how to make it to where he falls on that shoulder as hard as he can all game long. So I'm wondering how the injury report affects a game like today. It's week 11 in college football. These teams are going to be banged up, and this is how it works. So you got to fight through these injuries, but not a surprise on the injury front so far.
Not a surprise, and again, I think it's massive that, again, for both sides, all the crucial players, all the guys that you want to have out there, all your playmakers are available, are ready, because this is a game where you would hate to see a Baron Morton be unavailable, right? You would hate to see an LJ Martin be unavailable because you want your best out there. You want your best guys to go against their best guys, so you can essentially leave it out all out on the field.
Well, and the College Football Playoff Committee claims that this year they are going to look at, the quality losses or whatever. And and things like that. So we will see if that holds true, depending on the outcome of today. You know, if this really is a close one, we'll see what the rankings look like on Tuesday.
Update on the kick. Missed the first one.
Are they giving him a second?
Yeah, $250,000 on the line for him now. He gets $250 if he makes his. Boy, they've gotten pretty lax on these rules. Am I right?
I think Pat's just happy to give away some money, man.
Is he wearing shoes?
He took his shoes off. He took his shoes off. Yeah, and I think that was a mistake. And by the way, the tortillas don't help. Help your guys out. Help your guy out. He got it. On the second attempt, he puts it through. Well, no, those are the tortillas. Yeah, there's a flag. See, that's why. But that's why the Big 12 flags him. That's why the Big 12 goes after it, because you mistake those tortillas for flags all game long. That's exactly what happens.
Don't do a celebration if you miss
the I know. The thing is, man, they're getting guys in and kicking that look like they've done this for most of their life.
That was a pretty good kick.
Every week it's been a good
Alex,
kick.
Former kicker, rate his form.
That was the form. I mean, the
follow through. Look at he runs through.
Good.
He runs through. Look at
he
that.
almost falls.
Yeah.
So the form wasn't very good, but the kick was nice.
What happened when they would make these field goals for a haircut? You know what I mean? Like they get like a free haircut. Now they're doing $500,000. Like, what have we gotten to? At this point, they're giving it all away. Like they have to do it.
He gets 100, and the rest goes to charity.
Good for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue to break down this game with a special guest, Patrick Kinahan, joining the show here on College Football Saturday. He'll come in. We'll talk BYU. We'll talk Utah. We'll talk college football. We'll talk everything you need to know to get you ready for this BYU versus Texas Tech matchup. That's coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere more when we return. College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Will Hardy had his annual play hard and pass rant after the game.
Ben, why do you ask your kids to clean the house? It's not because they're going to do a good job.
They're not going to do a spectacular job. I'm going to do a better job.
That's not why you're asking them to clean the house.
Right.
No, you're setting the tone in your house, and I'm trying to do this with my girls too. We're going to be responsible for doing the hard things. You're not going to be able to get away with doing a half-hearted effort, even though I know that you're still going to not be great at cleaning the house. What I'm doing is setting a tone. I mean, I think when he says that, I think that's what he's doing, is setting the tone, especially now. Like, I'm going to take my team back, and you're going to do what I'm going to say, and I'm going to tell you to do some things that you don't want to do, and there's some hard things, but if you don't do them, you're not going to play.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Whether you're stuck in the office,
I believe you have my stapler,
in your car, or at your in-laws.
You want a piece of me? You bet I do.
The Zone is with you every step of the way. Download the KSL Sports app to get live streaming of your favorite shows and access to all the latest updates on your favorite teams. Your home for the best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's that time again. The Reams Boots and Jeans semi-annual work boot and outdoor clothing sale. Right now is the perfect time to save money and get the boots and clothing you need for cooler weather ahead. With the change of seasons, it's time to gear up. And Reams has the absolute best prices on the brands you know and trust. Save big on Ariat, Justin, Tony Lama, Georgia, and Timberland Pro Boots. Built tough for the work you do every day. And that's not all. Stock up and save on Carhartt brand jackets, hoodies, bibs, pants, and vests. Whether you're working hard or heading outdoors, Reams has you covered from head to toe. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah's largest boot dealer. Come in today for the best selection and the best prices on the boots and clothing you need. Look great, feel great, and save money. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah family owned and operated for over 80 years. Reams Boots and Jeans.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
At Peach Windows and Doors, they help homeowners stay in the homes they love while upgrading to the elegance, efficiency, and natural light of today. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, their clients know Peach Windows and Doors deliver what they promise.
I wanted to replace standard-size French doors with a large custom sliding door. The update required checking a weight-bearing wall. Plus, I wanted a couple of different styles of windows. The new sliding door created a much brighter and open look. Peach was so helpful along the way with recommendations and ideas, and the installers were efficient and respectful of my space. I was thrilled with Peach Windows and Doors.
Give your $1 million home the $1 million feel it deserves. Don't wait on that someday project. Visit Peach Windows and Doors Salt Lake Showroom. Schedule a free in-home visit. You can also explore at peachwindowsanddoors.com or just call them at 801-566-1255. Peach Windows and Doors, where amazing home transformations begin.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
This is Devin Dampier. As a new quarterback for the Utes, preparation is everything. Every practice, every play, every decision. And that preparation starts long before I step on the field. It starts with what I put in my body. That's why I choose Culligan Water, Salt Lake City. Their healthy, clean water isn't about quenching thirst. It's about optimal hydration, faster recovery, peak performance. It's the foundation of staying sharp on and off the field. For me and for my game, it's got to be Culligan of Salt Lake City. Drink what I drink. Visit CulliganSLC.com or call 801-509-9602.
97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvan. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Counting you down to kickoff. This is College Football Saturday with Alex Kirry, Christian Esparza, and Alex Napoles on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Happy early Saturday morning. Thanks for being with us on the program. It's College Football Saturday. Yeah, an earlier edition of the program because you've got yourself BYU versus Texas Tech coming up at 10 o'clock. For a programming note, you're going to be able to get Real Golf Radio right after this program. We've swapped spots with the folks at Real Golf Radio just so that we can make sure that we get this preview of this BYU versus Texas Tech game, and we're anticipating being able to chat with Patrick Kinahan in a few moments here. Texas Tech looking beautiful on a Saturday morning, and college football game day there. All eyes on this game, and you know it's an early morning game, but this is the way that we want this kind of a thing. You want to be able to have that national boost. You want to be able to get that national appearance, and even if it's you playing at 10 a.m., 12 Eastern, so that everybody else in the rest of the country can at least watch you win or fail to win, it's where you want to be. You want to be able to get those eyeballs on you, and this is a great way to do it and a great way to get it started. College Football Saturday, of course, is myself, Alex Kirry, Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles. Thanks for being with us on the program today. Lots still in the hopper for us to be able to chat about because of all the things that are going on in this game. probably the biggest question mark is going to be the health of L.J. Martin. That's a massive storyline. The return of JoJo Phillips for BYU on the offensive side of the football. What kind of another dimension does it bring to Bears' passing game? This is one of those moments that BYU has to grow up in, and they asked for this, and the last 2 seasons they've been able to deliver on big stages. Coming up short last year for the college football playoff. Can they get the step further this year? I was watching that Tulane game last night, Tulane and Memphis, and Jake Retzlaff had a heck of a game, and it was, it's interesting to watch his journey after he left BYU. It's crazy to think that BYU is in the exact same spot, wins and losses wise, after the special year that they put together last year. But Bear Bachmeier is a special dude. He's done something different every week. I don't think any of us are looking at him and going, oh, yeah, put him in the Heisman watch. He just gets it done. It's like a weird way that he gets it done. I've never seen a kid this young be able to have the type of confidence that he does. And that's a testament to all of his upbringing, all of that stuff. And so Bear has been a revelation for this BYU offense. He's been exactly what they've needed to be able to mix things up on that side of the ball, to be able to make sure that they get these wins, and he has learned how to come back from being down double digits in games to lead his team to wins. Joining us on the program right now, of course, host of DJ and PK every day right here on the KSL Sports Zone. He is Patrick Kinahan. PK, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I am ready to go. What are we, about 50 minutes away?
Can you believe it?
Play freaking football.
These early games, you've seen it across every time frame that you could watch a football game multiple times in your career. It's the good and the bad. You take all of the national attention, but at these early games, I'm just not sure how these guys do in these early games. Nobody that we talk to who are former players love playing at 10 a.m., but this is what you get.
Oh, come on, Alex. Most of these guys, BYU football, they're used to for 2 years getting up at 6 o'clock. They do more before 7 before Texas Tech does before noon.
Oh, that's amazing.
PK's ready, man.
Yeah,
PK's fired up.
He's
I love
fired
it.
up.
I love it.
PK, let's get it out of the way early. Obviously, this is a massive test for BYU. This is their first ever top 10 battle. How is this the biggest game in BYU football history? You've covered a lot of BYU. You've been around the market forever. Is this the biggest game in their history?
Well, implication-wise, I think you can argue that with the attention that it's gathering with Texas Tech and how good the Red Raiders are, sure. I mean, you can argue that. At the same time, I do think that if BYU puts on a good show and loses, that if they win out and then get to the conference title game, in my mind, they should be in, because that would be basically what happened to SMU last year.
Yeah.
The difference being SMU lost at home. Obviously, for BYU, it's on the road. So if they win, I can argue it, because then, my gosh, they might go 12-0, and that would just be incredible. And it's not just for this game, because you're constantly recruiting. You're never not recruiting in college sports, more so than ever, right? And it sends a message to everybody out there. Hey, we've got the money. We've got the talent. We got the fan base. We got the media attention. We got everything you need here. And then they'll follow it up with a great run in basketball that we're anticipating. And it's going to open doors even more so that have never been open for BYU. And we see that with basketball, what Kevin Young has done. And what I want, relative to what happened last year when Colorado beat the snot out of Utah, we know what Utah's coach said afterward. So either way, whether BYU wins or loses, I want Kalani Sitake to say definitively, this is by far the best team we've played in 2025.
PK, we know how much money Texas Tech has spent on this football program. Obviously, there's a lot of talk, speaking of BYU's basketball team, how much they're spending there. We can assume that they're pumping a reasonable amount into their football program as well. What do you think this means for college sports and maybe the Big 12 specifically, seeing these two high spenders at the top of the conference?
Yeah, I think that's what it's about, man. We just got done with the baseball series, and who spent the most? It was the Dodgers, right? Who won? Now, it could have gone either way. Literally, inches determined it, and then some role players determined it with a great play in center field at the end, and obviously Miguel Rojas coming out of nowhere. He's way on the bottom end of the payroll. So I do think that, yeah, money matters, but it's not exclusively money because you got to still make the plays.
Yeah.
Now, David Bailey, he's a kid from Stanford and comes in, graduates Stanford, has the eligibility left, and they basically say they're going to pay him $3 million to come play. And he's got more sacks than actual games. He leads the country in sacks. They're, in terms of pressuring the quarterback, we saw it a couple of months back with Utah, and the statistics bear it out. Money matters, and we had Cody's Campbell on yesterday. And I respected what he said because he was talking about what's good for the game. Well, at the same time, ESPN put out a story, quoted him, where he goes into Joey McGuire, hey, whatever it takes, we'll spend it. Okay, so you're saying that stuff isn't sustainable for the game, and at the same time, you're sort of the reason why it isn't sustainable. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy there. And as long as Texas Tech has the money, they're going to win. And they just, like last week, they got the number 1 quarterback in the 27 class. We'll see how that pans out. A lot of quarterbacks, their star ranking never correlates to how good they are, whether it be in high school to college and college and the pros. The pros get it wrong all the time, obviously. But the money matters here, and Texas Tech has it, and it's allowed them to win. Look what they did with softball. They stole a pitcher from Stanford, brought her in, Canada, I think, or Canada is their name. And what did she do? She goes from Palo Alto. You guys probably been to Palo Alto. It's a gorgeous area. Goes to Lubbock. One of our former producers, years ago for us, served a mission in Lubbock, and he said it wasn't exactly the garden spot of the country. And yet she goes there. They give her $1 million. What does she do? She brings Texas Tech literally to the final game of the Women's College World Series. And then they can pay her another $1 million to make sure she comes back for this year. You go look at Texas Tech's softball record before this young lady got there. They were like 31-24, that type of thing. They were good, but she gets there and they go like 54-4.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what's the big difference? Well, they paid her because she's a premier pitcher, and they're going to pay these kids to come in, and they're premier players, so they're getting what they paid for, and it stinks for everybody else. But like Bryce Harper said, when they asked him about the Dodgers having all that kind of money, he said, well, yeah, losers complain about that, and the Dodgers win. So what are you going to do? If Texas Tech goes all the way or makes a strong run in the playoff, yeah, they got their money's worth.
Well, and the people who complain about the money part, they're begging, their boosters to do the same thing. Yeah, so it's exactly how it works, because it goes, look, this is the way that the game is played now. This is the way you have to get this thing done. And, we're watching Bear Bachmeier warm up on ESPN Live here on game day. What's been the thing for him? What's been the thing that now we've been able to watch him over these past, 8 games, that he's 8-0 as a starter? What do you think the biggest thing that he's learned as a true freshman starter? That I think we all just kind of know that he's definitely – he plays older than his age, not just from a physical standpoint, but also like there's a mental – thing there that we don't see in a lot of guys. How's he been able to do it, and what's been impressive about him as he's gone along this year and we've been able to watch him over the past 8 weeks?
He was trained for this moment, or these moments. We had on CBS Sports, Shion Jayaraja. We have him on each week on Monday, and he wrote a piece. You guys can go look at it, CBS Sports, and it's a great piece. He talks about how his parents, they took the boys, because there's 4 of them. They got one younger, and obviously Tiger's on the team. And then the older brother played quarterback at Boise, and then hopscotched around a couple of teams. Hank is his first name. And they took him out at junior high, and they homeschooled him and basically trained him to be this person that he is. And so this has been, in a sense, a long time coming. And obviously they still focused on academics. His older brother, Tiger, we saw the story, graduated from Stanford in 2.5 years. Well, obviously that's very impressive. Bear himself got into Stanford, which you have to have the academics. I've talked to David Shaw, the former coach, about that many times, about for the opportunity to go to Stanford is an opportunity of a lifetime for an educational purpose. He chooses to go for football, too, here to come to BYU. We know that Stanford had their issues there, and the coach that he had committed to, Troy Taylor, former offensive coordinator, had been fired. But the point I'm making is he's got the intelligence. And talking to Aaron Roderick over the summer, he said he was extremely impressed about how Bear was able to pick up the concepts, pick up the playbook. That got taken care of, right? And so the mental aspect, that's actually where I believe he shines a little bit more than the physical. We focus on the physical because you need to make plays. He seems to have the skills, but just little things that he's able to pick up. And the poise that he's shown, that's also been impressive, right? The fact that he hasn't had that many turnovers has been extremely impressive. But then the thing that I love is when he gets those turnovers, it's not like he's rattled. It's like, no, okay, I made a mistake. He processes it immediately. It's like, oh, that won't happen again. And he moves on so quickly. He doesn't seem to get rattled no matter what happens. You've noticed watching him when he does something great, it's not a big celebration. And then if something doesn't go right, it's not like it's the end of the world. His ability to stay on that even keel and keep thinking about the next play has been awesome. And he's processed everything that they've thrown at him. And we've seen Aaron Roderick give him more and more. And today's going to be the biggest game of his life. I think that's without question. Everybody would agree with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm real interested to see how he performs because the pressure he's going to face is unlike any pressure that he's faced all season.
Just a couple minutes ago, they dropped the final availability report leading up to this game. Great not to see LJ Martin on there, right? LJ Martin leaves the Iowa State game. They get the bye week. He's back. He's ready to go for this one. How important is it to have the leading rusher in the Big 12 available for this game against Texas Tech?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you just said that. Obviously, him being the leading rusher, and we've been waiting for this season for him because we've seen it. We've seen flashes. We've seen maybe a little bit longer than flashes the prior couple of years, and then he got his body in great shape. He's ready to go. He's had a big season so far. Texas Tech's run defense is off the charts. You're going to have to find a way to run the ball, at least some. You cannot expect anybody, I don't care who it is, Patrick Mahomes, to go out there and throw 60 times and beat this defense, right? So you're going to have to be able to have some type of running ability. And Kalani talks about, well, we've got other guys, you just don't know who they are. Yeah, there's a reason why we don't know who they are, because they're not ready to go yet. Maybe they will, I don't know. Hopefully they will be. But I'm not that confident in these guys whose names I don't know in this game. I know LJ Martin's name. I've seen what he can do. And to have him available at close to as full strength as he possibly can be, it's extremely important here because they literally need him. And obviously the backup is gone and doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon, according to Kalani on Monday. And so you need this kid to be able to be at least a threat and then break off a few runs, right? You can't just be a threat. You actually have to do it. And he's their best running back, and he's their best running back by a substantial margin. It's not like up at Utah where they sort of change around the running backs from here to there, and they got Parker and the other kid Rogers. No, it seems like it's Martin, and then there's a Grand Canyon-sized gap between the next guy who can be effective. Yeah. So to have him there and not be on the injury report is really good.
PK, I was, the college football playoff rankings are huge because, you rely on whatever that group of folks on the committee are going to say about your team and what they say matters, because at the very end of everything, the arguments that they make to or about a team and about the teams that we cover is a big deal. Utah coming in, ringing in at 13 in the first one, I think was huge for them because with everything out in front of them, and they can just keep winning and keep scooching up that list because they're going to have teams losing in front of them. The Big 12 is positioned right now in a really, really good spot for not just a postseason, but to make a splash with multiple bids. Is that about how you see it, that they're ready for that multiple team bid? And obviously today will tell us a lot about that, but what were your impressions of that first round of this year's college football playoff rankings?
I think at the Big 12 office, Brett Yormark broke out the Martinellis when that thing came about because, my gosh, I don't think you could have been better. And it's funny, on Tuesday I wrote a piece and I said Utah needs to be considered for a playoff bid. Yeah. And it was published in the morning. And you go read the comments. There's a lot of people saying, were you up in the night? Well, yes, I am up in the night, but that's another story. That's me. And
that's how you're so smart, PK. You stay up all night studying this stuff. Come on.
I have a problem sleeping, but that's another story. I think that Utah, to me, that's a very impressive team they've got going here. Yeah, I know they had the loss, and they have 2 losses, obviously. Losing to BYU and Provo by 3 points, to me, it's like Texas Tech going to Tempe and losing by 4 points. All right, that happened. The other guys got some good players too, but you showed, in my mind, well enough. The Texas Tech loss, I'm thankful that the committee was able to look and say, well, I mean, it was 13-10 down in the fourth quarter. So, and then Hammond got him on a couple of other touchdowns, I think 3 touchdowns. And so the margin looks a lot bigger than it was. And you look at the metrics that they have, and I think that style points matter here. In Utah, all their wins, they've blown out everybody. And that's impressive. And just recently, the committee's most recent memory is, wow, Cincinnati, which had been hot and was ranked, they go to Rice Eccles and they get smoked. So that's fresh on your memory, right? So how do you forget that? How do you overlook that? You don't. And I think for the Big 12, that last year they got jobbed because BYU minimally should have received serious consideration. It didn't receive any consideration, let alone get in. And I think the committee's aware of that. And then they followed up. BYU has won 19 of 21 games. My gosh, that's impressive. And everybody knows about Cody Campbell and Texas Tech. Notice I didn't say Joey McGuire and Texas Tech. I said Cody Campbell and Texas Tech because he puts himself out there. He made himself available for interviews on Thursday, right? And it wasn't because we have on Trammell, the columnist from Oklahoma, over there in Tulsa. He was at OKC. Now he works over across state in Tulsa. And he brought up when we're interviewing, oh, I'm scheduled to talk to Cody Campbell today. And we said, well, so are we. So clearly Texas Tech made the man available for interviews, and everybody knows about that. And they backed it up. They've had a really good season. So you got that going on. And so at least get it 2. Last year they got shut out as far as getting 2. If they can get 2 and then have success, last year the Devils got in and sort of had success. They came this close to lose. Am I in there? You see that? You guys can see it, right?
Yes.
They came an inch close to winning that ball game, right? So they showed well. They didn't quite get there. But now get there. Get 2 teams in and have some success, and it sets you up for when this thing expands. Because I think the Big 12 has an opportunity, especially if they can close the gap financially, to be the 3rd conference power as far as the power ranking goes. Leave the ACC behind because it seems like the ACC's got some issues. Forget them. Let them worry about something else. And then you're set up to have multiple bids from here on out because that will be the level that they establish. So, yeah, I think it's extremely important. And it was great news. If they get 3 teams in, oh, my gosh, that is like finding opening up your winter coat and there's $100 bill in there that you forgot from last year.
That happens to Christian all the time.
Oh, I know it does. Yeah, I went 100. If I would have went DJ, I would have went higher.
PK, Tech has 1 loss on the season coming into this one. Obviously, a huge game, and that 1 loss was to your Sun Devils, man. So obviously, Baron Morton was hurt in that game. They were playing with their backup, Will Hammond, who is now out for the rest of the season. But what did Arizona State do to win that game? And is that sort of a game plan for BYU that can be replicable today?
Well, that was the morning or the afternoon of the BYU-Utah game, if you guys recall. And so and I showed up a half hour late. I know Jake Scott was really mad at me, but poo-poo on him. I wanted to watch the first half of the Sunday.
I knew what I was getting into. I wasn't as worried about it. I knew exactly what was happening.
Thing. Alex Kirry, he rolled with it, man. He had 0 complaints. And Jake is calling me like 5 times as I'm coming down I-15. Dude, come on, man. You can survive without me for a half hour.
PK's answer was, I'm on State Street. And that could have been very different. I'm on State Street. And we were like, well, where, though? But where on State Street? In Murray.
92nd South and Sandy. I had just turned on to State Street.
It's a wild thing. We watched that game, though, and we're watching it as we're doing that broadcast. And I was just impressed because I was like, Arizona State just hung around, and I think that was part of it. Just hang around.
I think the thing that they had going for them was their defense played their best game of the year. They had been embarrassed by Utah, right? Obviously, the week before. And the week before, Levitt didn't play, and I realized now he's out for the season. So he had a couple of weeks to get ready, and then he's had surgery, so he's done. So defensively, they played extremely well because the Utes obviously embarrassed them big time. So BYU's defense, which I think is better than ASU's anyway, needs to play well. That's a given. And then offensively, Raleek Brown, I think, is number 2 in the Big 12 in rushing. He ran for 69 yards, so it's not a big total, but they did throw a little bit of a threat of a run, and I think his longest was a 22-yard gain. The thing that Levitt was able to do is that he connected on big plays. He threw for 319 yards, which all these offensive totals that the Devils put up, they are the best against Texas Tech's defense. And the thing about his passing is that they had many big plays. Jordan Tyson's a stud. He's going to be most likely the first receiver taken in the draft this year, right? He had like 110 yards on 10 receptions, I think it was. A big 4th and 2 that got him in position. And then a couple plays later, he got a pass interference in the end zone, which got him down to score the winning touchdown. But they had another kid named Hamilton who had 3 catches, and he had over 100 yards on only 3 receptions. So obviously his average per reception was incredible. So they have to hit on big plays. There's simply no way BYU football offensively, and it's really anybody who plays Texas Tech in the Big 12, is going to be able to go and unleash an 80-yard, 12-play drive that eats up 7 or 8 minutes. I would be shocked if that happened. And I hope I'm shocked, because it's better for us in the business here that we're in to have Cougars win. So obviously I want them to win, but I would be stunned if they were able to do that. So they're going to have to hit some big plays. And I think having JoJo Phillips back, apparently he's full strength, right? He's been practicing for a couple of weeks. He's a player. I can tell you, when they got his commitment, they were ecstatic that they got a kid of his size and his ability. And we already know Parker Kingston has emerged as a big-time threat. Smaller kid, but he's got that blazing speed. And who's the other guy? Chase Roberts. He's like your go-to outfit. And I wanted, when Christian was down there in Cedar City and he wanted to impress the women when he was going to college, he had this go-to outfit, man. The shirt was super tight, the pants that he pressed. He knew he can count on that line of clothing to get him somewhere with the women, right? Well,
he's wearing it right now. He's wearing it right now. Yeah.
It worked.
Well, I mean, there's people in the building that he's trying to impress. I get it. He's a kid on the way up. He's got to look sharp. He plays it well. In 15 years, guys, when I'm dead, Alex and Christian, they are going to be the DJ and PK of their generation. You just wait. And so that's who Chase Roberts is. He's so reliable, right? So we know what he can do. And then maybe mix in Carson Ryan a little bit. But they're going to have to make plays, big plays. And then special teams, I think, has an opportunity to favor BYU, because it seems like we've seen them make big plays virtually every time they've needed it. And they had some in Ames, right? Blocking the runner into the gunner, I think they call him, into the punt so they get a short field. And Kelly Papinga had noticed that. And I asked him, Kelly, how'd you notice that? He said hours upon hours in the film room, right? So if they can come up with some big plays in special teams, the margin of the way for them to win is going to be very slim, but I think there's a chance.
They just put a graphic up on the screen, PK. Texas Tech has gone 6 games in a row of scoring 40 points on their opponents or more in the last 6 games, 40 points or more. And it's just, that offense is extremely good. By the way, the line has moved to 13.5 in favor of Texas Tech.
13.5?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to call my cousin Vinny right when I'm done with this.
I was letting you know, just so the wise guys out there could get a hold of PK and figure some things out. PK, we appreciate it. Thanks for the breakdowns. Enjoy watching the game, and we'll obviously dip back in at the start of next week. DJ and PK, of course, every day right here on the KSL Sports Zone. You wake up, you turn those guys on. You've done it for decades. PK, we appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, PK.
Thanks, PK.
13.5. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Well, that's just overnight. That's honestly action that's happened overnight
all week.
So something's going on. Some people are looking into that thing and dipping in. It's pretty crazy to be the number 7 team in the country, to be undefeated, and to be a 13.5-point dog there at Texas Tech. I know Texas Tech is pretty darn good. Man, I remember watching this game. So they played each other in 2023. Do you guys, the turnovers in that game were crazy, because the turnover battle was won by BYU. That's the only way they win games. Like these defenses, just when they turn it on, and it's just different. But Texas Tech turned the ball over 5 times that day to BYU's 0 turnovers. And that was BYU's first, I think their first win in the Big 12 was against Texas Tech. How far these teams have come in just the past 2 years, because that year BYU went 2-7 in conference play.
Yeah.
That year, Texas Tech I think they missed out on a bowl by one game, and these are both 2 5-7 teams that were not ready for this moment, and yet here they are a couple of years later. Shows you how much you can turn your roster over in just a short amount of time and how things change for these teams. Okay. Let's take another break. Appreciate PK. 30-plus minutes away, just over a half hour away from BYU facing off against Texas Tech down in Lubbock. We'll take a break here. More to go on a College Football Saturday. Stay here with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is JJ and Alex. I got this.
Is Bear more consistent than Jake Retzlaff has been?
Yes, 100%.
Is it a more impressive thing what he's doing this year, not just because of the freshman part, but because of the actual performance part?
Yes, 100%. Jake Retzlaff had to go through a period of learning, growth, gaining experience at the Power 4 level. Bear Bachmeier, he didn't have that chance. And he was thrown into the fire this year, and he has been unbelievable. When you consider the circumstances, if Bear was a senior quarterback and he'd been playing 3 years and he had these type of stats and production, like, yeah, that's okay. When you consider he's a true freshman who transferred here, didn't even get spring ball, and he's doing what he's doing for this team and leading comeback after comeback after comeback, how can you not be blown away by what he's doing? He's leading. This is not just a freshman getting the job done. He's leading.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
At Bank of America, we asked our teammates, what makes this company a great place to work?
There's very little that you can't accomplish working for Bank of America.
If you prove yourself, you can try over in a totally new way.
You can learn so much here. You're the owner of your career.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Season's greetings start at the Garden Restaurant. Our fall menu and delicious food captures the essence of the holidays ahead. Stop in or order online for pickup. Have you tried our favorited jalapeno pork sandwich yet? It's perfectly balanced with sweet and spice and enough to satisfy any craving. Now let's talk turkey. The Turkey Club and turkey cranberry sandwiches are delicious. And of course the fan fave, the turkey pot pie is prepped daily and loaded with chunks of tender meat, veggies drenched in a rich, creamy sauce hugged by a flaky, buttery crust. But that's not all. Home-cooked, handmade baking is our standard. What's more aromatic than baked goods? From giant cinnamon rolls, cookies, bars, and our famous warm, buttery Limehouse rolls. Our chefs prep each little item with a little something that makes the garden so unique. It's fresh ingredients sprinkled with genuine TLC in every bite. Celebrate your season with us. The Garden Restaurant, with new hours starting November 14th. We're open into the evenings and on Saturdays. Visit us at thegardenslc.com.
A confession without consequences.
In 30 years of law enforcement, I've never heard of this happening.
From a convicted child sex offender.
I got a plea deal, and it kind of makes me sick.
Convince me that you are okay to be paroled.
Honestly, I can't do that. Why are there no new charges?
Do you think this case should have been filed?
Yes. KSL investigates Confessions Without Consequences. Monday at 10 on KSL and the KSL Plus app.
Bar Dub Grill is where roadside classics meet ranch-raised flavor. Sink your teeth into juicy, handcrafted burgers made with premium Bar W beef straight from the local Utah farm. From the bold cowboy barbecue burger to the sweet and savory Aloha burger, paired with crispy cowboy fries, hand-spun shakes, or signature spud nuts. Soft, airy, and unforgettable. Bar Dub Grill delivers honest eats with cowboy swagger. Bar Dub Grill in Nephi with easy access right off exit 222 in Nephi.
The KSL Sports Zone and Hercules Credit Union are highlighting people that impact youth sports. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com.
This is College Football Saturday on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Christian Esparza. With me is Alex Kirry, Alex Napoles, as we walk you up to kickoff, 28 minutes away. BYU down in Lubbock for a top 10 matchup. It's a big one, boys. Shout out to Patrick Kinahan joining us last segment. We will have that posted shortly on the podcast feed. A lot of good things to say, a lot of great insight, but this is a huge game for the Cougars, and they are going to need to show up to this one. We were talking a little bit earlier about, you can't be scared of these guys, and they shouldn't be, right? Because BYU is ranked higher. They are undefeated, but the line has moved so much. We were talking it's 13.5 points now. I don't think BYU should be scared, but I think they do need to recognize that they've got to wake up for this one.
What's interesting is they showed a little feature. I mean, they didn't do like a special feature on it, but what they did show was they highlighted Faletau Satuala for BYU, and it's easy to go, oh, look at the pick six, right? From the Iowa State game, great. But they're really just showing the freak athleticism, and they were showing Tanner Wall too. They're just showing they're showing that the kind of the juxtaposition of a guy who's been playing that defensive back spot for a long, long time, and then Faletau, who's had an insane year, right? I mean, we got to see that guy up close and personal a handful of times in his high school career.
Yeah.
And you knew how good he was going to be. You didn't know he was going to be this good this quick, though, right? Like, you didn't know he was going to make an impact that quick. But it's guys like him who are it's not an X Factor thing. They're not asking him to be an X Factor. They're asking him to be just a full-on leader. Like, don't be an X Factor. Be a consistent. You cannot have a 65-yard touchdown at the front end of this game like you did, and it was Faletau's bad on that first play from scrimmage.
Yeah,
and man, but those are the moments that they are able to go, here's what you did wrong, and then he's the kind of guy that just converts that kind of stuff immediately. But it's guys like him, it's guys like Chase Roberts, who again, they're different in the sense that they're both. I mean, Chase is as veteran as it gets on a team like this, but they ask him to do the same thing week in and week out, and that is to show up. And PK brought it up. He's like, yeah, that's that safety blanket. That's the guy. That's the go-to guy, and it's not a bad go-to guy to have. So, man, it's just you're going to ask a lot from a lot of different people today. But 13.5 is wild, right? Like that's a crazy move overnight to put an extra 3 points on that line for this game. But there's part of people out there. I mean, look, listen, BYU fans, if they're out there thinking to themselves, there's no way, they know in the back of their heads, like, this conference is crazy. Things like this can't happen. And if your first loss of the season happens to be 2 touchdowns or more down at Texas Tech, the question is going to be how do you respond, not just the week after, but how do you respond in game to adversity and being down big? They've done it before, but man, it seems like such a tall task to ask for today. You cannot get down against this team. You can't be down double digits. You brought it up earlier. It's like this is a team you can't get away with it on.
No, you can't. Frankly, you can't, because I as much as BYU has done it this year, this Texas Tech team is too good offensively and defensively for BYU to try and fight their way back into this one if they go down at all. And if they're down by 2 scores at any point, I think it's it's over at that point.
It's a tall mountain to climb.
It is a huge mountain to climb. This Texas Tech team has a really good offense, a really good defense. But with that being said, I do think you got to remember BYU is undefeated. They have played really freaking good football. They have a lot of really good football players. I am confident in their ability to hang with this team. And I'm so excited for this game because it really is a true test for BYU. There have been a lot of people saying, oh, they haven't played anybody this year. And now you can't say that if they come out of this one, with a win.
One of the things, too, that I really like is just the mentality of how these guys approach these games. I think it was Chase Roberts in the postgame presser after the Iowa State game who said, look, all season long we've been underdogs. All season long we've been in these situations where we've been the underdogs, yet we find ways to win, yet we find ways to come out on top, and that's just the BYU way. And I think they're going to have to lean a lot on that mentality tonight because you're absolutely right, Christian. If they go down early as they have in the last couple of games, it's a very tall mountain to climb, and BYU needs to show up early and needs to show up quick against a very, very good Texas Tech team.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Every game takes on its own narrative, right? And every game has an interesting story that kind of gets followed along here. And so what version of it is it? I mean, BYU has gotten down early in some of these games. They've also gone up in these games and in some games. And they go, hey, they get off to a quick start. The question is can they maintain and can they figure out a way to match the energy that Texas Tech is going to have a lot of? This place is going to be.
It just showed the stadium. The thing is full already.
It is bonkers.
There have been
at that
people
place.
camping out since Monday or Tuesday.
And I know
literally all week.
I know ESPN says it every week. They're like, wow, this place is electric right now. It's like, they're like, there's something going on here. It's a city. It's a city, and frankly, it's a conference. But I think it's a city in Lubbock that they haven't had this kind of attention. It's one thing to be a good football team. They've had decent teams. They've never had one this good.
Well, and like you're saying, they've always been third fiddle to Texas and A&M.
Yeah.
And they feel like this season,
even like Baylor and TCU, they've always been like mentioned, fourth or fifth after those guys.
And they feel like this is their season to finally turn that around.
It's pretty wild to think that, is they're going to roll out the guest pickers here. I think Mahomes is going to be isn't he the guest picker this week? So Bart Gotze has the best record. He was 7-2 as the celebrity picker. We'll have to see how this thing goes. Isn't it funny too? Like nobody, I don't care who you are, would have thought to themselves that Patrick Mahomes wearing that Texas Tech jersey would be the type of an NFL player that he's become. Like to think about what he's done in his career already. At such a young age, and he's got so much of his career in front of him. No wonder he's got his own logo on the front of the jerseys this week at Texas Tech. It's a pretty safe bet for that brand, you know what I mean? And so, and they're showing Jacob Rodriguez, who's also a massive X factor for this team. Texas Tech has an insane ability to take a ball away, and I'm interested to see how he does. You know what's crazy though? We haven't had a lot of all the linebacker talk that we've had this week. They start talking about all the Butkus semifinalists with Jacob Rodriguez. I'm like, BYU's got a couple of pretty good linebackers that are Butkus semifinalists as well on the other side of the football. And if those guys don't show up to play, which they do, right? Glasgow and Kelly show up huge, and those guys are just as important as Jacob Rodriguez is for his team as well.
Yeah, they're big, and it's good for BYU to have them both on the field. They are a little banged up, but they have had the bye week to hopefully get as close to 100% as they can. So we will see what that looks like. Coming up in just over 20 minutes. We got to take a break real quick. Coming up on the other side, we will give our final thoughts on this one. We will give our keys to the game, walking you up to kickoff. Stick with us. It's College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Tom, I'm on the sideline here with Doug Smith Chevy. Doug, the NCAA has changed its rules regarding NIL money. What do I have to do to land an amazing new 2025 Chevy Silverado?
Just come on down to Doug Smith Chevy in Spanish Fork.
Doug, I'm more than happy for you to use my name, image, and likeness. All I want to know is how do I get one?
You have to buy it, Scott.
Together, let's drive. Get 2.9% APR financing for 72 months for well-qualified buyers when you finance with GM Financial on all new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s. No one knows Chevy like Doug.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now. Let's go! Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at UtahJazz.com.
It's that time again. The Reams Boots and Jeans semi-annual work boot and outdoor clothing sale. Right now is the perfect time to save money and get the boots and clothing you need for cooler weather ahead. With the change of seasons, it's time to gear up. And Reams has the absolute best prices on the brands you know and trust. Save big on Ariat, Justin, Tony Lama, Georgia, and Timberland Pro Boots. Built tough for the work you do every day. And that's not all. Stock up and save on Carhartt brand jackets, hoodies, bibs, pants, and vests. Whether you're working hard or heading outdoors, Reams has you covered from head to toe. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah's largest boot dealer. Come in today for the best selection and the best prices on the boots and clothing you need. Look great, feel great, and save money. Reams Boots and Jeans, Utah family owned and operated for over 80 years. Reams Boots and Jeans.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CAR.
Hockey fans, let your voice be heard with the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum. Visit the Utah Mammoth page on KSLSports.com to connect with the team, other fans, and our KSL Sports insiders. Start chatting today in the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum on KSLSports.com.
You're locked on to College Football Saturday on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
College Football Saturday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Alex Napoles. That's Alex Kirry. Across from me, Christian Esparza at University of Utah Health. Hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you for life. Let's jump into the keys to the game as number 7 BYU gets ready to take on number 8 Texas Tech. Christian Esparza, what do you got for us, man? What are you looking for tonight?
I'm saying Bear Bachmeier has to be efficient in the pass game. We talked about Texas Tech's ability to take away the run. Obviously, LJ Martin coming in banged up. I'm not going to bank on a whole lot from the running game. Bear Bachmeier needs to win this one with his arm. He's only had one game this season with over 30 passing attempts. That was their last game against Iowa State. And guess what? He threw for over 300 yards. Now, I don't know if he can replicate that today against Texas Tech, but at the very least, you got to be efficient, and that includes, obviously a high completion percentage and not turning the ball over.
Yeah, gotta protect that football. I'm gonna avoid the cliche. You remember? I mean, maybe you guys are too young for this, but like I watched Wheel of Fortune growing up, prime time, like all the time. At some point, everybody would, when they'd say, hey, what are the letters that you're going to guess on that final puzzle? Everyone would say RSTLNE, right? Those are the two. And after a while, Pat Sajak and the folks at Wheel of Fortune were like, okay, those are going to be given to you already. Like, the no turnovers, that's given already.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, of course, like, you cannot. You cannot. But the thing is that what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the opportunities you have with the football? I think LJ Martin, asking him to have 120 yards rushing and a touchdown, that's a tall ask for a guy who I don't know what his health level is. However, I think that him being in the entire game is going to open things up for BYU. Him being on the field makes a huge difference by itself, because at any point he might get stopped short here and there, but his chunk plays, they show up at different times of the game, right? They'll come up, and he had them at moments where when Utah muffed the punt against BYU, they were having a hard time moving the football. That turnover led to a weird kind of energy where LJ Martin ripped off 2 or 3 plays in a row of 7, 8, 11 yards, just like right off the bat. He can get going downhill in a hurry, and it might be at moments where you don't necessarily think it's going to happen. Avery Johnson ran in. He's obviously one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the entire country. I think what he did last week, so LJ being in the whole game, and I'm not even saying having a 100-yard game, being there the entire game is huge. And then the next one I have is that Bear has to just make sure Bear has to just be there in the big moments. So converting third downs for me are going to be huge. They have to convert third down. They've been very mid at it this year, and I think that they need to be better at their converting at third downs. The way to do that is have shorter attempts. Make those third down conversions. Keep LJ in the game all game long. Hopefully he's healthy, and there it is for me.
And, of course, our picks for this game, BYU, Texas Tech. Christian, what do you got, man?
I'm going to go Tech 38-34.
High-scoring game.
I think so. I think it's going to open up in the fourth quarter.
Christian with the over. I'm going to go – I'm going to go I did this yesterday, so I'm just going to stick with it. I'm going to say Tech ends up winning this football game. They have the edge at home. 23-16 is my pick for the Red Raiders.
I think we're all going against BYU in this one because I'm also going Texas Tech. I think this is where the undefeated run for BYU ends. Texas Tech ends up taking this one at home with College Game Day. There and the national attention there for Texas Tech. Remember to catch the postgame show tonight immediately following the game with Christian Esparza and myself. Will be on air and also live stream on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and KSLSports.com. Again, that is the postgame show immediately following the conclusion of this BYU Texas Tech game. This has been another edition of College Football Saturday with Alex Napoles, Alex Kirry, and Christian Esparza. We'll talk to you guys in the postgame show here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether you're stuck in the office,
I believe you have my stapler,
in your car, or at your in-laws.
You want a piece of me? You bet I do.
The Zone is with you every step of the way. Download the KSL Sports app to get live streaming of your favorite shows and access to all the latest updates on your favorite teams. Your home for the best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's. Craving something sweet? We do ice cream right. Come in and try one of our shakes, freezes, or an ice cream cone, and you'll see why we say JCW's, quality, and a lot of it.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Peach Windows and Doors, they help homeowners stay in the homes they love while upgrading to the elegance, efficiency, and natural light of today. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, their clients know Peach Windows and Doors deliver what they promise.
I wanted to replace standard-size French doors with a large custom sliding door. The update required checking a weight-bearing wall. Plus, I wanted a couple of different styles of windows. The new sliding door created a much brighter and open look. Peach was so helpful along the way with recommendations and ideas, and the installers were efficient and respectful of my space. I was thrilled with Peach Windows and Doors.
Give your $1 million home the $1 million feel it deserves. Don't wait on that someday project. Visit Peach Windows and Doors Salt Lake Showroom. Schedule a free in-home visit. You can also explore at peachwindowsanddoors.com or just call them at 801-566-1255. Peach Windows and Doors, where amazing home transformations begin.
From the first twinkle on Temple Square to the last toast of the night, make your holidays shine 10 floors up at the roof. Perched high above the city in the historic Joseph Smith Memorial Building, every table feels like a front row seat to the season. The anticipation is over. We're reopening November 14th just in time for your merriest gatherings and special occasions. Now with an all-new design and an a la carte menu that wraps Utah favorites in a festive bow. Share a plate of our house-made Utah scone, pass the reimagined funeral potato bites, slice into your perfectly cooked steak, then stop and linger over local honey-drizzled desserts, berry cobbler, and chocolate pudding that tastes like holiday magic. The delicious menu doesn't stop there. Why not try our burrito short rib, pork ossobuco, maple glazed salmon, shrimp scampi, and our fried chicken mac and cheese. All dishes made to celebrate togetherness. Elevate your traditions literally. Preview the new menu and reserve your holiday table at theroofslc.com. This is The Roof, where the holidays taste like home.
A confession without consequences.
In 30 years of law enforcement, I've never heard of this happening.
From a convicted child sex offender.
I got a plea deal and it kind of makes me sick.
Convince me that you are okay to be paroled.
Honestly, I can't do that.
Why are there no new charges?
Do you think this case should have been filed?
Yes.
KSL investigates confessions without consequences. Monday at 10 on KSL and the KSL Plus app.
Show some love to youth sports volunteers with the Hercules Hero of the Week. Let's praise your favorite youth coach, ref, or maybe the parent that pulls the team together. Your nomination could score them a $100 Visa gift card from Hercules First Federal Credit Union and a $200 gift card from Beehive Meals. Listen to see if they win Thursday afternoons with JJ and Alex. The Hercules Hero of the Week with Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals, helping you take the busy work at a family dinner. Get rules, info, and nominate your hero at KSLSports.com/contests.
97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The following is paid programming. The views, claims, and opinions of this program do not necessarily reflect those of the Zone Sports Network, its management, or staff.
Hey, welcome into another edition of Real Golf Radio. Brian Taylor alongside Bob Casper. Brought to you by Mountain America. Apply for My Style Checking. It's the account with built-in lifelines for your unique lifestyle. Details at macu.com/mystyle. So good to have you with us. As always, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, our home for the last, gosh, Bob, how long of the 26 years it's been on the zone?
Probably at least 20.
Yeah, at least, right? Maybe a little bit more than that even.
Yep.
So good to call this home and good to be with you each and every week, Saturday mornings, 8 to 10. At Real Golf is the X handle. Search Real Golf Radio on Instagram or where your favorite podcasts are found and catch the show that way as well. It's also brought to you by Mountain Land Supply, the official Rainbird Golf irrigation supplier for the state of Utah. Don't forget they also carry holiday lighting, and they can help you with the design. Hook it up to your smartphone so you can control the lights just how you want it. They will hook you up. Mountain Land Supply. Black Desert Resort, Siegfried and Jensen, 801-222-2222. Hoops Vision, where you'll save $1,000 on your LASIK procedure by mentioning Real Golf Radio when you book your free consultation. And you win a golf, serving Utah golfers since 1971. Zions Bank. Zions Bank is for you. Great set of sponsors, and appreciate you tuning in and listening each and every week. There's a lot of things we're going to cover. I have had an unexpected golf nirvana over the last 2 months. I don't even know what else to call it.
It's not the year of nirvana. It's been jam-packed into 2 months.
I found myself from the old course at St. Andrews, the home of golf, to Bandon Dunes, and just got back from Stream Song out in Florida, plus some time down at Black Desert, and up playing the new Marcella Tiger Woods design up in Park City. Like there is an incredible amount of new golf that I've experienced over the last couple of months. So I want to talk about it because on a couple of those occasions, I've gone with a group. One was to Scotland. It was a family trip, something we've been planning for a long time. Bandon was with a group. I knew one of them, didn't know the rest of the 6 guys, and it was a last minute invite. Similarly to Stream Song. And so what is it about the golf trip, the golf buddy trip, the golf family trip, the destination golf vacation? What is it that is so memorable, or what are the things that go into making it so memorable? And why do we do it, and why do we love it so much? And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? We're going to talk about that. And I want to compare some of these destinations. I'll talk about some of the things I liked about each one of them. And Bob, you're well-traveled. You've played all around the world. So I want to get your feedback on this. But the other thing, the question that I want to entertain is, how did we get so wrapped up in golf course architects? Like we collect golf course architects like you used to collect baseball cards.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see I've got the Derek Jeter rookie card? I mean, that same kind of thing would be, hey, I played another Core Crenshaw this week. Or have you checked out that Tom Doak or that Tom Weisskopf? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I want to play all of this designer's courses.
Was that so? My question is, was that a thing when you were growing up? Did you think about the designers?
No. Yeah, we didn't think about the designers. We just thought about the golf courses and the experiences. It'd be really cool to play Pinehurst number 2, and it'd be really awesome to play Pebble Beach, and it'd be really awesome to.
You weren't saying I want to play Pinehurst number 2 because it's this one of the original cool Donald Ross designs, right?
No,
you never thought that.
In fact, you weren't necessarily thinking just Donald Ross, but now it has evolved to so much of I want to play Donald Ross golf courses. I want to play the top golf courses in the country or in the world, and the more of a particular designer or whatever, the better. Hey,
how about this? I'm a Fazio guy.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? I'm a Fazio guy. I love this particular, designer or whatever. But that's what look, I literally just got back from Stream Song. They have 3 golf courses. They've got a Core Crenshaw, a Tom Doak, and a Gil Hanse. And then David McClay Kidd is designing a 4th golf course right now. It's currently under construction.
Yeah.
And so you look at it and you go, wow, look at that collection of designers. It's in the middle of nowhere, and they've put up a hotel. It's very comfortable. They have good food. They got a spa. They got a pool. And people will come. It's the ultimate field of dreams. People are building field of dreams all over the world right now, and it doesn't even have to be close to anything. It just has to be a collection of great golf courses from notable designers, and give me somewhere to stay, something to eat, and a lot of golf, and I'm there. That's where it's going. Nebraska, Wisconsin, Michigan, great example. People will just go. Sure, you want to go to Pebble Beach. Sure, you want to go to Long Island, New York. All of those things are fantastic. Arizona, Scottsdale, but you're starting to see some crazy places. Idaho, Utah, middle of nowhere, Colorado, Montana, starting to become golf destinations. We're going to talk about that really fascinating stuff as we continue.
They say it's in your blood, a game that can't be won, only played. A love affair. It satisfies the soul and frustrates the intellect. The greatest game ever played. Golf. It's real. And this is Real Golf Radio, brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, with Brian Taylor and Bob Casper, son of legendary golfer Billy Casper, talking golf with you for more than 2 decades. And now, here's Brian and Bob.
Yeah, welcome into another edition of Real Golf Radio. I'm Brian Taylor. He's Bob Casper. At Real Golf is the X handle. Search for us on Instagram, or where your favorite podcasts are found by searching Real Golf Radio. Great to be with you. Dave Glauser's our producer. We got a great show for you coming up this week. Sam Hahn, the legend, the CEO of Lab Golf, the mad scientist himself, is going to be joining us. coming up in just a few minutes, and it's going to be an extended conversation. I'm so fired up about this. I said it from the beginning. I think what Lab Golf has done this year has to be in and among the best stories, or the story of the year in the game of golf. There's tour stories. I'm not taking away Scotty Scheffler, Rory, Ryder Cup. Like, there's a lot of tour playing stories, but the industry itself, what Lab Golf has done this year, is unprecedented in so many ways, and Sam's going to tell us a little bit about that. So look forward to that extended conversation, plus the caddy on the back nine, hour number 2 of the show. Bob, I'm excited about this one. Just got back from Florida, played the 3 golf courses at Streamsong, and as fate would have it, I just so happened to have, they call that the Bandon of the East, and I hit the real Bandon plus that one, along with Scotland, just in about a 7-week period. Didn't intend for that to all happen, but it did. And it's made me think, of course, spending time at Black Desert as well and what's being built there. What is it that makes such a great golf destination that will attract golfers from around the world, putting together buddy trips, coming out? What are the elements of that? And one of them that seems to be prevalent is this collection of golf course architects. The architects are like artists. It's like, hey, I'm a Beatles fan, or I'm a U2 fan. No, I'm a Fazio fan. I'm an Alistair McKenzie fan. I'm a Gil Hanse fan. I want to play anything Tom Doak does, whatever it happens to be, right?
Yep.
So I feel like that's somewhat of a new phenomenon, but we're going to talk about that, the nuances of it, and then, of course, a lot to talk about with the tour as well. Liv's added some changes. We'll get into it all next as we get going. You ready, Bob? I kind of did the whole open there, but I'm going to give you your time. We're going to do that coming up next. You're listening to Real Golf Radio.
How's it going, everyone? Spencer Reynolds here with Fujikura Golf, and today we're excited to bring you our newest line of performance golf shafts, the all-new Fujikura Pro Series. The Pro naming convention has a rich Fujikura history, and this promises to be the highest performance Pro Series yet, featuring an all-new advanced bend profile design. Advanced bend profile is a design technique where we target specific regions within a section of the shaft and alter stiffness in those sections to increase overall shaft performance. In the all-new Pro Series, Advanced Bend Profile targets the lower region of the midsection, drops the stiffness dramatically to increase kick speed, and a reinforced tip section provides increased stability and consistency at impact. Available in 2 distinct and overall smooth-feeling profiles, Pro Blue offers players a traditional mid-launch and mid-low spin configuration, while Pro Black focuses on higher ball speed players, delivering a lower launch and lower spin option. Both Pro models are available now, so visit us at FujikuraGolf.com for more product-specific information, locate a charter dealer near you, and get fit for the all-new Fujikura Pro Series.
Everyone needs a checking account, so get the one with built-in benefits to complement your unique lifestyle. Mountain America's My Style Checking has perks no one can pass up. You'll enjoy sizzling restaurant deals, peace of mind mobile phone protection, timely telehealth access, built-in identity protection, and clutch loan rate discounts. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration or activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Golf course green starts with good irrigation. Pros and golf course superintendents agree. You should turn to Mountainland Supply for your turf irrigation needs. Mountainland Supply is the exclusive Rainbird Golf distributor in Utah. And what does that mean to you? When you need irrigation products for your lawn, you can trust that Mountainland Supply will have what you need. Plus, Mountainland can assist you in designing your sprinkler system with smartphone controllers, drip irrigation, pipes, parts, and tools. Go to mountainlandsupply.com to find the location nearest you.
With adaptive weighting technology and 33 unique loft and lie settings, Cobra has a driver model for every golfer. Introducing DS Adapt from Cobra Golf. Dial in your game.
Say hello to For You Banking from Zions Bank. Customized banking that's all about you and the way you bank. Like credit cards. Experience For You Banking today at a Zions Bank branch or visit zionsbank.com/4u to learn more. Credit card accounts are subject to credit approval. Certain terms, conditions, and restrictions apply. See the Consumer Credit Card Agreement and Disclosure Statement for more details. Offers are available for new credit card accounts only and subject to change at any time. A division of Zions Bank Corporation. N.A. member FDIC.
Now, Back to Real Golf Radio with Brian Taylor and Bob Casper.
All right, welcome back to the show. Brian Taylor, Bob Casper. It's brought to you by Black Desert Resort in St. George, Utah. BlackDesertResort.com, where you can book your stay and your play at the Tom Weiskopf Championship Design Golf Course. Experience the amenities like the world-class spa, the steakhouse there, Basalt. It's unbelievable. The 20th hole with its great sports vibe and indoor hitting bays. Plus, you got the 36-hole putting course, the TrackMan driving range. It is absolutely awesome place. Check it out. You've seen it on TV with the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour. It is just an awesome destination this time of year. Very difficult to get on, high demand, but get your tee time and find out about exclusive real estate opportunities at blackdesertresort.com. All right. Again, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about like golf destinations, and this time of year you might be turning your attention to say, all right, the leaves are changing, they're falling in my area. I want to start looking at getting something planned because I'm going to really enjoy this holiday season and all the fun with the lights and the snow and the music and the food, and then you're going to be like,
let's go warm.
Lights are off, it's frozen January, I need to be somewhere where there's some green grass, I can chase that little white ball. So as I mentioned in at the top of the show, I found myself over the last couple of months in some pretty fantastic places, beginning in Scotland, the home of golf, played the old course and the new course at St. Andrews, Kings Barnes, and then we went up to the Highlands and played Royal Dornoch, which was a bucket list of mine, Castle Stewart, which is now Cabot Highlands. And again, family trip, would have played more golf, but we went and saw a lot of castles and did all of those things as well. But still, phenomenal trip, terrific golf, a lot of wind, especially up in the Highlands. We had perfect condition at St. Andrews. And then as I was recovering from that long trip, I got invited last minute to a camp turn down trip to Bandon Dunes and ended up playing 3 of those golf courses, Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes, and Bandon Trails. And then, of course, the short courses they have there as well. And then randomly last week, just got the last minute invite to head out to Streamsong in Florida and play those 3 courses, the blue, red, and black, which are, notable architects as well. Tom Doak, Core Crenshaw, and Gil Hance. And then David McClay Kidd's building a 4th golf course. So coming off of that, I just got thinking, I'm like, wow, been to a lot of places, Bob. And I want to talk about what's the makeup or what needs to be present for a good golf trip. But let me start out by asking this. It seems to be that the biggest marketing, you even heard it there in the little read I just did for Black Desert, the Tom Weiskopf Championship Design Golf Course. When did the architect become the feature, almost like sort of like the artist, like, I love the music of this artist or what have you. It feels like there are fans of the architects and their styles, and it becomes this sort of like, cult following a little bit.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that you have these old classic like Donald Ross, Tillinghast, those guys, they keep showing up, and the classic golf courses that the tour plays and the USGA and the PGA of America, that kind of thing, we see those classic designers. But then I think when this really started to jump into the forefront is you think about Jack Nicklaus and the courses that he's done. And now it's starting to come closer to the professional game. Tiger Woods is doing courses now. Gary Player, Arnold Palmer, those guys started bringing it to the forefront. And then as people started to accept it a little bit more and want to play some of those courses as well, then you start seeing the classic designers, the old designers, the Fazios, like Tom Weiskopf and Black Desert. You start seeing those more, and people are gravitating to those more and more.
Yeah, I think you've got the classics, right? I mean, when you think, at least growing up, I would think, oh man, what would it be like to play Cypress Point or Augusta National or Pebble Beach? I didn't think about, like, I got to go because that was a Alistair McKenzie design or whatever, right? But I would even think that, like, Pete Dye kind of started to have, like, you remember, you told me about this when we first started the show. There was a lot of resistance to what Pete Dye did initially, right? I mean, especially when he used a bunch of railroad ties around TPC Sawgrass. And I think some of the comments were like, you could light this only golf course you could start on fire or something like that, right? I mean, it was, Don
January said that.
so there, like, those are some of the things. But then you look at what he did at Whistling Straits, the Ocean Course at Kiowa, which is one of my favorite that I've played. And then people that followed in kind of his, I don't want to say his shadow, but it maybe that sort of footsteps is like Tom Fazio, Reese Jones, Robert Trent Jones, some of those guys that, and then they started to make, then people started looking back and say, well, where did this all come from? Where does your inspiration come from? And I think a lot of those guys would refer back to the Alistair McKenzies, the Donald Ross. And then you're saying, what do you mean? Well, Alistair McKenzie was the one who designed Cypress Point and Augusta National and Royal Melbourne, probably the top 3 golf courses in the world that you could, you would ever hope to play. And then others would be like, well, we always appreciated Donald Ross. What do you mean? Well, have you heard of Pinehurst No. 2 or Seminole or Oak Hill or some of those, right? And so I think that's where you started to say, oh, there's some artistry here that's got some roots in the historical designs of golf. And now these guys are taking it here. And then you got Pete Dye that's saying, I'm going to totally go out on a sort of out here and do my thing. And then other people started making their, sort of marks on it. Remember, Reese Jones was the U.S. Open doctor for a while. He would come in and sort of update golf courses. So I think that's when people started kind of paying attention, like, hey, Reese Jones got this ready for the U.S. Open. Okay, well, what is this Reese Jones guy? And then that sort of paved the way for today's guys, where you start to see the Tom Dokes, Core Crenshaw, Gil Hands, David McClay Kidd, those, and the Nicklaus, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it's what's really cool is golf is so diverse, and each one of these guys have different things that they like about golf and different things they envision. And you can definitely tell when they put their stamp on a golf course, whether it's a full course or whether it's a redesign or whatever. And that's what's so cool about golf course design and being able to play this game.
Yeah, I think there was a time when people would hang art on their walls of a certain painter or artist. And now it's, I got to check off my bucket list with certain golf course architects and artists, because that's where I want to play. So anyway, we're going to continue this discussion on the back nine, but a special extended conversation with Sam Hahn, CEO of Lab Golf, comes up next. Right now is the perfect time to check out the all-new Black Desert Resort in St. George. You can stay, you can play. Enjoy one of the many restaurants that are open to serve you, like the fun sports atmosphere at the 20th hole or the finest steakhouse experience at Basalt. Play the Tom Weiskopf Championship Golf Course, home to the PGA and LPGA Tours. Take on the massive 36-hole putting course and enjoy luxury your way at Black Desert Resort. Book your experience at blackdesertresort.com.
My name is Nikki, and I'm a real client of Siegfried & Jensen. They'll help you deal with the insurance companies, get you the treatment you need, really go to bat for you.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Siegfried & Jensen.
They will absolutely take 100% care of you.
Golf course green starts with good irrigation. Pros and golf course superintendents agree. You should turn to Mountainland Supply for your turf irrigation needs. Mountainland Supply is the exclusive Rainbird Golf distributor in Utah. And what does that mean to you? When you need irrigation products for your lawn, you can trust that Mountainland Supply will have what you need. Plus, Mountainland can assist you in designing your sprinkler system with smartphone controllers, drip irrigation, pipes, parts, and tools. Go to mountainlandsupply.com to find the location nearest you.
At Black Desert Resort, everyday living feels like a well-deserved getaway. Immerse yourself in the unique opportunity of ownership nestled among the lava fields and vibrant cliffs of Greater Zion. Spanning 600 acres of scenic desert landscape, our newly built luxury resort offers a range of residences, diverse dining options, year-round outdoor recreation, and world-class spa facilities. Anchoring it all is our signature Tom Weiskopf Golf Course. Explore the options or book a tour at ownblackdesertresort.com.
Say hello to For You Banking at Zions Bank. Customized banking that's all about you and the way you bank. Whether you're looking to open a new checking account or simply save for the future, we're ready to help with banking that's meant for you. Experience For You Banking today at your local Zions Bank branch or visit zionsbank.com/4u to learn more. Please refer to the deposit account agreement, account disclosure, deposit rate sheet, and personal account schedule of fees available in the online agreement center, or speak with a banker for more details. A division of Zions Bank Corporation, N.A. member FDIC.
My name is Taylor, and I'm a real client of Siegfried & Jensen. They helped us to feel the reassurance we needed. They helped point us in the right direction, and they made this experience incredible.
Here for you whenever and wherever you need us.
Call Siegfried & Jensen.
This is Brian Taylor. For years, you've heard me talk about getting LASIK surgery from Hoops Vision. I've heard from so many of you who have had the same great experience that I had. It's been 15 years already, and my eyesight is still amazing. I 100% recommend the pros at Hoops Vision for your vision correction needs. Book your free consultation online at hoopsvision.com. Mention Real Golf Radio, and you'll save $1,000 on your LASIK procedure. That's hoopsvision.com. hoopsvision.com.
You're listening to Real Golf Radio. Talking golf with Brian Taylor and Bob Casper.
One day you'll get it.
Here's Brian and Bob.
All right, welcome back to Real Golf Radio. Brian Taylor, Bob Casper, and so pleased to, this is a guy that we've been sort of dreaming of having on the show for the entire year now. One of the biggest stories outside of PGA Tour players, if you're thinking like Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, those kinds of stories, think about golf industry and what are the biggest stories of the year. And to me, you have to put Lab Golf at the top of the list. CEO of Lab Golf, Sam Hahn, is kind enough to spend some time with us, and I'm so stoked to have him here on the show. Sam, thanks for being here, man. Good to have you.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure to be here. It was a pleasure meeting you a few weeks ago in Utah, and I'm glad we got to set this up. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you the story. Now, you probably get tired of, you were just talking to Bob before we started about how he probably gets tired of hearing his stories about his dad. You probably get tired of hearing stories about how people fell in love with lab putters.
By the way, Bob nodded yes.
Yes. No, I did not.
I never get annoyed. I love hearing everybody's journeys with lab.
Yeah, so, stories about my dad are there are quite numerous, and I love hearing them.
I'm sure.
Well, that's awesome. So I have to share this because I'm fanboying out here a little bit. But I was putting with a blade. I've had various putters over the years, but I was putting with a blade, probably one of the sexiest blades that I've ever had. Super stoked about it. And I started seeing your Instagram ads pop up. The reels were popping up, and here's Sam, and he's got the revealer, and I just looking at it, and I would tell Bob off the air or on the air, whatever. I would be like, I'm intrigued with this little lab thing. I'm intrigued. And Bob was just looking at me like, oh, you're so hooked. Because he's seen me he sees how I get like with this stuff, right? So I was down at Black Desert. They had a Mez 1 Max on the rack. I'd never even putted with one. I bought it and went out to the putting green. Now, here's what's interesting. I started out on the putting green with a little left to right putt. And the first putt I hit, I pulled it. And I was like, that's interesting. So I put it back down and I pulled it again. And I realized, and I hadn't even realized in all the years I'd been putting, that because I fear the little left to right miss as a right-hander, that I'm manipulating the putter. And with this putter, I didn't have to do that. I just had to set it up, trust it, let it go. And I did that, and boom, ball goes right in the heart. Right in the heart. And I had probably a month of one of those, like you could have done a reel with like all of the lovey-dovey like music in the background. I had a massive honeymoon with that putter where I made it didn't even matter. It could be on the fringe. It could be on the tee box. All I had to do was stroke it and it was going in. And I've been using it all year. It's phenomenal technology. I absolutely love it. So I just wanted to share that. And I'm sure you hear stories like that over and over again. But I'm curious when you hear that, what are your thoughts? And then we'll get into kind of how this all came to be.
Well, I mean, my first thought is you got there quick, and we've been, the company's grown so fast, and its identity has changed so much in some ways, and then in other ways, it's exactly the same. But one of the sort of new missions is that we don't want to leave people at the cash register. They buy their putter, and their journey with the company that they're buying for the putter typically ends when they pay for it.
Yeah.
And, and they're on, and we want to go the other route. We want to be there for people and help them with their putting, not just their putters. And, as you discovered, it sounds like real quick, it's a different thing. We've been manipulating putters our entire lives, working to keep them square. And now all of a sudden you got a putter you want to let stay square instead of, forcing it so. And so, I love hearing about people's journeys because they're all very different, and as time goes on and we accumulate more data and everything, there's certain categories where you see people generally fit into as far as that first month, and some have a honeymoon, some have a hangover. Myself included, like the part of the story that I leave out when I talk about, my first directed force putter, was normally the story goes, I got the putter. I was a putting, psychopath beforehand and switching, putters all the time just to ride a honeymoon. And then 6 weeks later, I was a plus 3.5. I leave out the 2 weeks in between when I got the putter and had this profound experience with it over 7 holes. And then when I first got my own, was horrible. The worst I've ever putted in my life. I was going around in 40 putts every time, but I was so stubborn because I'd already told all my friends, like, this thing is the answer. And so I played a bunch by myself for those 2 weeks, and I was there's a hole out here at Emerald Valley where our factory is. The 13th hole is this beautiful par 5 along the river. It's really a 3-shot hole, but a couple times a year I can knock it on, and I knocked it on to about 4 feet. I got a 4-foot eagle putt straight up the hill, maybe, inside left, doesn't even touch the hole. Like, and I literally fell down on the ground and looking up at the sky. And that was when I, had my moment that you had, a lot quicker than I did, which was, if I'm missing, the whole point of what I've seen with my own eyes with the revealer and what I experienced that first 6 hours with it is that the putter is seeking square. It's trying to stay square by itself. So if I'm missing putts, we know it's something that I'm doing. And that's when the mentality shifted to letting it stay square. And everybody's got some version of that story.
Right.
We developed some drills and stuff. You check out our YouTube channel, like, kind of hangover cures, we call them. And it helps a lot of people sort of unlock the technology a lot quicker.
So tell us how this all started. How did you start the company and figure this out and it makes such a big splash, especially on tour with players and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I didn't invent the putter. And I'm the mouthpiece. And so a lot of people think it was me that came up with it, but I didn't. The guy's name is Bill Pressey, and he's just a proper, golf tragic, as my friend Phil Scott calls folks like me and others who just pound our heads against the wall in this game. But he'd been in every aspect of the game. He was a teaching professional, he was a master club builder by the time he was 20. And it's a longer story, but, long story short, he sort of noticed that all putters twist, and we've had all kind of bought into this narrative around face balance and toe hang and all this stuff. And so he just took that as law the same way that I did and so many other golfers. And through an unusual set of circumstances, noticed that even at address, the second you pick up the putter, it's trying to flop open, in his case with a face balance putter. So to test how putters performed just at address, it wasn't even in motion at this point, he built the first revealer out of a crutch and some fishing wire. So he started hanging putters in a crutch, and ultimately found that they all flop over the place. And he used that revealer to start drilling holes in different putters to figure out a spot where he could stick the shaft that it would at least stay square at address, and then continued to develop the technology from there. So that's about 2014, and then I think they had patents and everything approved sort of end of 15. 16, they've got some product now, and they're developed the first head. And then August of 17, I meet up with a guy who used to teach out here, a fellow named Bob Duncan, who'd come across the putter in Australia, of all places, and said, "You got to try this." And he showed me the revealer, and he showed me the stuff, and I went out and holed the world over 7. I truly made 150 feet worth of putts in 7 holes, and I drove right back to the clubhouse. I bought one on the spot. Already told you what happened after that for the 2 weeks. But then after those 2 weeks of hangover, I went from a 1 to a +3.5, and then the head fell off the putter. So I had to send it back, and I knew of Bill online. We'd connected on some Facebook groups and stuff, but he reached out to apologize for the head falling off and everything, and we just got to talking and became fast friends. And then a month or two after that, the existing directed force company was just going to close its doors. They couldn't get anything going. And it's one thing to have an invention, and even one as profound as Bill's invention, but the getting it into people's hands and actually making a profit is hard. And so I partnered with Bill. We bought out my brother and my dad bought out his existing partners it's coming up on a year that the first conversation I had with my brother and with my dad was Thanksgiving of 2017. And then the partnership was official April 2018.
There you go. Sam Hahn, CEO at Lab Golf. So you took this concept. Now you've got this thing. What was it about it? What was it that you said, hey, this is something that is going to be successful? Because that's a huge entrepreneurial risk at that point in time, right? I mean, this is a company that already tried and somewhat had failed, and here you come along and have the opportunity to kind of take the next step with it.
Yeah, I mean, as I look back on it, like, I'm a very obsessive and very impulsive person, and my personal experience with it was insane. I mean, it was totally insane. That was the best golf I ever played. I got to plus 3.5 is as low as I've ever been. And like, I wasn't even hitting it particularly well at the time. And you know, as I mentioned before, like I was crazy with putters. I had 50 in my basement. I was tweaking them and bending them and cutting them and lead taping them and re-gripping them. I mean, just anything. And like nothing felt quite right. And there was always sort of some internal conflict around my relationship with that narrative I mentioned a minute ago around face balance and toe hang and what kind of, you know, stroke they were supposed to be good for, because my experience didn't line up with that. And then, you know, once I kind of got the hang of the Reno 2.1 is what the DF was called at the time, all of a sudden putting became like every other stroke sport that I'd played that I was good at. Like I'm good at darts, I'm good at pool, I'm good at bowling. And all of these things, I'm just focusing on a target and reacting to it, where putting, I was just so psychotically stroke conscious. And then, you know, 3-4 weeks into my life with the Reno 2.1, all I think about is a target. I just pull the putter back and, you know, swing the head vaguely at the target, and the ball would just go where I was looking. So I was adept enough at equipment in general and analyzing it and everything that I knew that this was a big deal. And then I also, and then from there, I kind of got to apply some of my previous life experience as a promoter in the music business, but also I was in politics, where, you know, the task in politics is changing people's minds. And that's what we had to do. We had the world's ugliest putter. It was ridiculous. It looked crappy. It sounded crappy. It just felt weird. It was just not, you know, made for prime time, but it worked. And so, you know, the task became trying to open people's minds. And then in those really early years, one after another, over and over and over again, people having the exact same experience that I did. And that's when, you know, it was clear, like, this is a thing. This is definitely a thing. This is not snake oil. This is not placebo. This is not any of it. This is a very, very real technological breakthrough. And then from there, it was just about communicating.
Sam Hahn's the CEO at Lab Golf. We got to take a break. We'll continue with Sam next right here on Real Golf Radio.
My name is Taylor, and I'm a real client of Siegfried & Jensen. They helped us to feel the reassurance we needed. They helped point us in the right direction, and they made this experience incredible.
Here for you whenever and wherever you need us. Call Siegfried & Jensen.
Say hello to For You Banking from Zions Bank. Customized banking that's all about you and the way you bank. Like credit cards. Experience For You Banking today at a Zions Bank branch or visit zionsbank.com/4u to learn more. Credit card accounts are subject to credit approval. Certain terms, conditions, and restrictions apply. See the Consumer Credit Card Agreement and Disclosure Statement for more details. Offers are available for new credit card accounts only and subject to change at any time. A division of Zions Bank Corporation, N.A. member FDIC.
Right now is the perfect time to check out the all-new Black Desert Resort in St. George. You can stay, you can play. Enjoy one of the many restaurants that are open to serve you, like the fun sports atmosphere at the 20th hole or the finest steakhouse experience at Basalt. Play the Tom Weiskopf Championship Golf Course, home to the PGA and LPGA Tours. Take on the massive 36-hole putting course and enjoy luxury your way at Black Desert Resort. Book your experience at blackdesertresort.com.
Tease the season at Uinta Golf by Worldwide Golf, featuring the new Bushnell Wingman HD speaker. This revolutionary speaker has a built-in 3.5-inch touchscreen with front, center, and back distances, now $199. Don't forget we have gift cards in any amount for the special golfer in your life. Shop us in-store or online at worldwidegolf.com. Uinta Golf by Worldwide Golf, proudly serving golfers since 1971 and home of the legendary 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
This is Brian Taylor. For years, you've heard me talk about getting LASIK surgery from Hoops Vision. I've heard from so many of you who have had the same great experience that I had. It's been 15 years already, and my eyesight is still amazing. I 100% recommend the pros at Hoops Vision for your vision correction needs. Book your free consultation online at hoopsvision.com. Mention Real Golf Radio, and you'll save $1,000 on your LASIK procedure. That's hoopsvision.com. hoopsvision.com.
Everyone needs a checking account, so get the one with built-in benefits to complement your unique lifestyle. Mountain America's My Style Checking has perks no one can pass up. You'll enjoy sizzling restaurant deals, peace of mind mobile phone protection, timely telehealth access, built-in identity protection, and clutch loan rate discounts. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration or activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
My name is Nikki, and I'm a real client of Siegfried & Jensen. They'll help you deal with the insurance companies, get you the treatment you need, really go to bat for you.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Siegfried & Jensen.
They will absolutely take 100% care of you.
Now, back to Real Golf Radio with Brian Taylor and Bob Casper.
All right, welcome back to the show. Brian Taylor, Bob Casper, continuing with our guest, CEO at Lab Golf, Sam Hahn. And we've been talking about kind of how this got started. Let's just get right to the technology. I mean, to cut to the chase, were all the other putters done wrong to this point in time? Or do you adopt the philosophy that there's a better way to do it, but every golfer is so different that maybe it's not for everybody, or maybe there's a reason why they have certain, so many club manufacturers for different kinds of clubs? Where do you kind of fit on that? Because for me, it was a light bulb moment when I realized that I had been manipulating the putter, and now all I have to do is line it up and make the stroke. Now, again, I'm not a pro golfer. I don't take the time to be perfect at it, but for the most part, if I get that thing online, it feels like it almost swings itself and it goes, and that's a fun feeling. Like, it makes a hard sport more fun, and to me, that's a win. So I have a hard time thinking I'm ever going to go away from this thing. But that said, what's your thoughts technologically? Why this took so long to kind of become adopted, and now you're being copycatted? And was everything else wrong, or is it just different? That's a big question. Sorry about that.
No. We talk about this all the time here, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that 100% of everybody that's ever bought a lab putter had a remarkable experience with it and putts better. And it breaks my heart when I see it. I see people online saying, I bought this thing, tried it, didn't work for me. Most of the time, I know why. The habits and philosophies and instruction that we've all had is designed around managing torque and managing the club face, and so. There is a bit of a departure in mentality from, from what we've learned in the past to how best to use these things. I would say that like just this last year or so, we're starting to get buy-in from the instruction community, where for a really long time, they were the last people on board. And the theory basically being, no, you need torque to tell you where the putter face is. And without, that twisting and some of that resistance somewhere, you sort of, lose feel. I don't buy it. I definitely accept that there are people who are used, like particularly at this super, high-end professional level, these people absolutely use torque to tell them where the putter face is, because that's what they've trained themselves into, and that's why they're so good. They don't need it. If they wanted to make the change, but it is a change, and professional golfers don't like hearing that they got to make changes in order to, unlock technology. Why would they change what's, gotten them to where they are? For the rest of us schmoes, like we, whether we realize it or not, for the most part, what I see is amateurs treat their putters as though they were designed the way that ours are. They treat their putters as though all they have to do is just kind of swing it back and swing it through, and it should arrive, where it started and send the ball down the line. I think that if you asked, a very experienced fitter or, a high-level coach 2 years ago, I think they'd say lab golf is helping to complete the 360 degrees of where a face is oriented. We've got toe down and you've got face up, and now we've got toe up, and nobody's really explored toe down or face down, but the Dandy did, and a couple others in the past. And so they would have at best put it in as like another option. I vehemently disagree with that. I mean, and I've seen it before my own eyes. And there's some people, they plug and play immediately. As far as like the whole stroke type thing, I mean, one of the craziest things that we see is for doing nothing other than using the putter. Somebody will come into our studio here, get fit for a putter. Let's say they have excessive face to path rotation. And by doing nothing other than just using the putter for 2 weeks, they come back and we test them again and it's reduced. And they don't even know that it is. So stroke types, in my mind, are derivative of the putters that we've been using. Stroke types are created out of certainly some biomechanics and some realities of our, body types, hand size, grips, and all that stuff. But a lot of why people open and close the blade. You know, I mean, your dad, you know, even though talked about square to square a whole lot, there was, you know, at least as I understand it, quite a bit of face rotation. They needed to hear, they needed to feel as much resistance as is possible in order to sort of attack the torque profile of their putters. Now you just don't have to do any of that. Now you don't even think about the face. You just pull the shaft back and let it do its thing. So, and I'm sorry for the really long answer here, but let's say a spider putter or you know toe hang mallet putters typically have the highest torque output. So let's call that a 10. You know, a flow neck 2-ball or something like that is a 10, and lab is a 0. I think the space between 0 and 3 is where the let's tailor this thing to you space exists. I don't think that 4 through 10 is helping anyone. And, you know, and here at Lab, we'll continue to explore that and how best to fit people and accommodate people and their idiosyncratic strokes and bad habits and all that stuff.
So your face angle, it needs to be square at impact to be able to make more putts. Lie angle, tell me about lie angle, and also tell me about the grips, the press grips that you guys use.
Yeah, great question. On the grips, lie angle. Look, you know, unfortunately, the golf industry is gotten. I don't mean this as insulting to the number of extraordinary professionals and manufacturers and club designers that got us where we are. The, you know, advancement in equipment, particularly this last 35 years, has just been amazing. But there are points at which most manufacturers need to make hard choices around, are we going to try to accommodate everybody, or are we going to run everything right up the middle? Putters are no exception, where they're all between 33 and 35 inches, and they're all 70 or 71 degrees. And if you golf enough and you're in the know, yeah, you know, somebody can bend your putter for you. But like, I was an avid golfer and I had no idea I could get my putter bent until like 2 years before Lab. And everybody's a little different, and their hands are different, and they're you know, like I have big hands, very long forearms, short biceps, and that makes it, you know, for low hands for me. And there was, you know, every time I'd set down a putter, I'd see it off the rack. If I just gripped it naturally, the toe was way off the ground, 3, 4, 5 degrees. Like most of my putters are at 66 degrees, which is 4 or 5 degrees flat, depending upon the manufacturer. And nobody will make me that putter. And so we just wanted to make sure that all of the golfers didn't have to get into some box and grip it and stand like Tiger and whatever. We've got some great stories of some people with some wild setups who used to never putt even remotely well, and then you give them a putter that actually fits them and fits how they want to stand, not how their instructor wants them to stand, because this isn't a full driver swing where we need to maximize ground pressure and this and that. It's freaking putting. We're just trying to roll a ball, you know, into a small little hole here. Like we don't need to be in these incredibly, you know, athletic positions. We can stand how we want to stand. So yes, we prioritize people's length and lie. And then our manufacturing process, the reason our putters are so expensive is that if you change any one of those factors, length, lie, grip, swing weight, anything, it ultimately changes the torque profile of the putter. So every single putter needs to be hand balanced, and there's no way around it. And that's, you know, that's why we do what we do. Remind me your other question.
Press grips.
Press grips. So this is the one, by the way. This is the putter where the head fell off. The original Reno 2.1 with our fishhook logo on there, and
love it.
Bill's signature up on the flange.
That's cool.
So the you know, Bill knew he wanted to make a super stable club head, so that's why he made it big. And then the technology starts with locating the shaft in proximity to the center of the mass, which, as we can see, is way behind the face. So generally onset for most people, and it's changing a little bit. We're watching, you know, different manufacturers mess around with onset and how it works. But generally, if the face is this far in front of the hands, the face is going to be getting to the ball before the hands do. Therefore, the blade hasn't quite rounded the corner, and you miss a lot of putts to the right. So what Bill did that was so brilliant, so he balances it by sticking the shaft where he does, but he started making them with forward lean. So the shaft is leaning forward 2 degrees here, so that by the time you get to the top of the shaft, it's back out in front of the face like it would be on any other, you know, marginally offset putter rather than onset. But now you got a crooked shaft. So, it's kind of awkward unless you're somebody that really naturally likes to see the shaft leaning forward. This is very awkward. So then he created the press grip, which then leans back. So now
That's cool.
the target side of the grip is, 90 degrees to the ground and ends up in front of the face and creates some offset. So the press grip is an ergonomic accommodation. It is not completely necessary. We also, JJ Spawn uses that DF3, it's got plenty of onset, it's got some shaft lean, but he already likes to kind of feel his wrist, bowed out and lean forward anyway. So he's able to use a straight grip, but they help ergonomically more than anything.
Sam Hahn's the CEO at Lab Golf, joining us here on Real Golf Radio. One of the things that's interesting, people will say, oh, you're going with a Lab, which, by the way, at my club, it's not unusual to have 2 to 3 in our group that are rolling Lab putters right now. It's remarkable. But when somebody's seeing it, oh, you went with the Lab, and they, can I try it? Of course you can try it. Inevitably, the very first putt they hit it about 3 feet. Because they look at the size of that thing and they think this thing is going to come rocketing off. This thing's a sledgehammer. I want to know what is it that you do? And maybe this is something you don't say to the public, but what is something that is that massive that has that soft of a feel? Because I absolutely love the soft feel. Some putters, very prominent putters, have a very firm face, and the ball feels like it shoots off a little bit. That's okay. A lot of people like that. I like that soft feel. And I tell people, go ahead and stroke that thing, because surprisingly it is soft. I'm speaking specifically of my Mez 1 Max. It is just butter off there.
There's a couple of different things that take place that do ultimately reduce the ball speed. But what's really interesting is a lot of it is actually sonic and tactile experience. The ball. So like, we just came out with the Oz 1i. So it's the Oz 1 had the same face that's on your Mez, so same very thin grooves into 6061 aluminum, very, very soft feel. And we made the I, which is a stainless insert on it. And it's faster, but not nearly as fast as people think it is. Like, we handed, some of our college guys out here and they'll try and like, whoa, that's way faster. It's actually about 2-3% faster, but the sound, the click, the firmness, gets it, kind of feeling like it's coming off the fast.
Sound is feel, right?
Yep.
Sound is feel.
Yeah.
And to answer your question on ours, there's a couple things. Number one, those grooves definitely slow the ball speed down. 6061 is really soft is the third thing. And two, the further back the CG is, the slower the putter is. Higher MOI, more forgiveness across the face, but the less mass is transferred to the ball, or inertia is transferred to the ball at impact. And so you'll notice with some of our putters, like even like your Mez, is a little bit onset. If you went and tried a DF3 or a 2.1, it's even slower because it's the same material, but the CG is just that much, further back. And this is the fight that driver designers struggle with, is that the further back you put the CG, the more forgiving it is. The further forward you put the CG, the hotter it is. So you're always, kind of playing whack-a-mole, trying to figure out, which one's going to be best for you.
Sam, we appreciate your time. I know we're just about out, but can you just note, what are those milestones through this journey where you just went, wow, these are noteworthy? Obviously the JJ Spawn putt, maybe some of the manufacturers copying what you're doing. I mean, just talk, what were some of those things where you sit back and go, what have we done here?